The Baltimore Ravens ruled out quarterback Lamar Jackson for Sunday's game against Houston due to a hamstring injury. Cooper Rush will get the start at quarterback for 1-3 Baltimore. The Washington Commanders confirmed that quarterback Jaden Daniels will start Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers after missing 2 games with a sprained knee. Chargers ruled out left tackle Joe Alt and returner Darius Davis and listed right guard Mekhi Becton as questionable. The Las Vegas Raiders listed tight end Brock Bowers as questionable for Sunday's game at Indianapolis with a knee injury. The Dallas Cowboys ruled out receivers C.D. Lamb and Kevontae Turpin, as well as offensive linemen Tyler Guyton and Tyler Booker for their game against the New York Jets. Baseball, the New York Mets fired pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, as well as hitting coaches Jeremy Barnes and Eric Chavez. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
That's right, welcome in. Happy funky Flashback Friday to you. It is the Odd Couple. Rob Parker is out. We got Rob G in the building. Kelvin Washington with you on this funky Flashback Friday. I can't get rid of Rob's. If it ain't Rob Parker, it's the Rob G. We got a lot going on this funky Flashback Friday we're going to get to. We have, of course, a bunch of football to talk about. Then Sean King's going to join us next hour. As usual on a Friday, we'll be down with the King, former NFL quarterback, Fox Sports Radio analyst. Also, Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM, will join us in the 9 o'clock hour. For those of you in the East Coast, 6 o'clock here on the West. We'll get you ready for some betting over this weekend as well. We have a lot to get to, so make sure you lock in the number 877-99 on Fox. Also, we will be live on YouTube. Elijah's setting up everything right now. You can follow us there. When the iHeartRadio app, by the way, you can stream us wherever you happen to be. Catch us and all your favorite Fox Sports Radio shows live 24/7. In the new and improved iHeartRadio app, just search Fox Sports Radio in the app to stream us live all day, every day. And be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as one of your presets in the iHeart app, so it will always pop up in the top of your screen. Let me welcome in my partner, Rob G. What's up with you, man?
Brah, brah, brah. Shout out Monty. How are you?
Don't play with me.
Why?
Because how you're going to hijack my thing? It's already bad enough
Monty's
Monty stole it. Now you stole it and gave Monty credit.
It is her thing.
At least Alex, hopefully, will still be a truther and be with me, that he knows I brought the to this thing.
Oh, you did. Absolutely.
Thank you, Alex. Oh, that's what it is. If you sit in his chair, he's going to ride with you no matter what.
I'm a one guy.
Yeah, that is true.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Well, Rob's here. Welcome in the crew. So we got Rob G here, also producing as well. Brandon will be helping out as well. And we got Alex.
Yeah, we don't need Brandon. We're good.
Wait, so just because Rob G's sitting over here, he don't get the GOAT sound?
No.
Dang. See how
He's not on my side anymore.
That's tough.
See
That's
how I
tough out
do
here
you?
in these streets.
He's talent now.
That's got to be racist.
Alex, engineer extraordinaire. And we also have Isaac Lowenkron is going to be on the updates for you. I'm sure he'll find some random facts about something we bring up, including it could be our middle school or something like that. I probably shouldn't even say that because now you might start digging. And
Never heard of him.
And
Never heard of him.
And
Who?
Elijah.
Who is it?
Is, of course, our social media guru, getting us all set up on the YouTube. Thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube, all of you in the Odd Mob YouTubians. We appreciate you as always. Make sure you check out our YouTube. We'll be simulcasting on there as well. So a lot to get to on this funky Flashback Friday. And real quick, if you want to reach out, the producer, RG, K-Dub Live for myself, Odd Couple FSR. If you can't get through the phones or you can't get through the YouTube comments, you can research on our socials as well. All right, Rob G, man.
That's got to be a record, Alex, quickly.
What?
We are only 4 minutes and 50 seconds through the top of the hour. And we are getting to the topic.
Oh, you thought I was done? And always remember.
Oh, no.
And you better sing it.
Sweetie.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh,
and for those of you, we're the most listener-friendly show and all of the land.
Nope.
But only when those are, you got to be up. You got to be listening.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
What else am I looking for? For the next 3 hours.
And also, if for some reason you're on the air and you hear feedback, just remember.
You forgot to turn down the radio.
Now, here's the thing.
Oh, I hate it so much.
That's so funny. Now, the other thing, too, and Elijah, Alex, Rob G, you guys have to, how long will it be? Because I've been on the show now for a year, and he's added like 4 things to the intro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Alex, at some point you was an engineer and got to tell him, all right, you got to stop.
I try.
Because all he's going to do is keep watching 1960s and 70s shows.
That's what makes it worse.
And adding something that none of us know is some show that none of us see, Dragnet or something.
Right.
He's going to keep adding Hawaii 5-0. Like, all right, Rob, we got it.
There's one episode of the
This-
Flintstones.
oh
the
my God, it's so
Akadak.
great.
Oh, God, it's going to be
It's so
perfect.
great. And then his phone rings and I hear that song.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to it. You just mentioned it. We're going to get straight to it, man. A lot to get to on this Friday. We had a good game last night. We tell you what, we had a good Thursday night football game with 2 teams, some rivals. They have been in the 49ers and should I say it was a home game for them? Because, my gosh, did you hear the crowd? Which always happens if you've ever seen 49ers when they come to town. When the Raiders play here as well, whether it be the Chargers or for some reason they play the Rams as well, it feels like a home game.
They
for
got
the
caught
opposing
pumping
team.
in the crowd noise.
Yeah, true.
On video.
Trying to oppose that, but ended up being a really good game. We are all witnesses to the Mac Montana
That's right.
era, or you could say Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. To Mac Jones era is upon us. My gosh, he's now 3-0 after having a really good game, threw for 300+ yards, couple of touchdowns, beat down, battered, bruised up, stuck with it, and he looked really good. So there's a lot of conversations coming out of that as they sneak out and get a win. And there's so many different layers to this conversation. We could talk about Sean McVay and the decision he made. We'll get to that in a little bit. But one of the things people are starting to walk around with and think about, and this happens when these types of things happen, you have the backup quarterback have success. Do you Brock Purdy when he's back? Or do you stick with the hot man, the hot hand in Mac Jones? And that's the conversation starting to slowly go around, matriculate around the sports media world. I'm going to jump in on this one for me. One of the things that I'd always tell people to be wary about is the newness of something. Mac Jones is the newness for the 49ers because obviously Brock Purdy's out and Mac Jones is now 3-0. But where I would caution things, and I think he's looked great, but I also think this is more of a testament, and I wish Rob Parker was here so I could tell him, to Kyle Shanahan. And even he would admit the system. Whether you're Jimmy G, whether you're Brock P, or whether you're Mac Jones, they've been successful, right? And they've been able to find guys, and you can win games. You can get the NFC Championship games. You can get the Super Bowls. You can be 3-0 so far, Mac Jones. And this system, and this is a credit to Kyle Shanahan, he's able to say, all right, what are we going to do now that I have Mac Jones? Let me cater something. Let me get in his kitchen. Let me cook up something that works with his talent, his skill set. And by the way, what we have around him right now, which is basically nothing. They got a mass unit for receivers, and they're struggling on that end with guys' health. And they said, what we're going to do is we're going to dink and dunk him. We're going to get this thing out in like 1.7 seconds, get the ball out of his hands, find Bourne. All of a sudden, I thought it was Jason Bourne. The way he was out there receiving, he usually averages around 29 yards a game, ended up with like $150. We're going to find guys, get him open. We're going to use Christian McCaffrey to the point he's probably looking at us like, if you don't get somebody else to do it.
You're about to wake up dead.
He is got to be exhausted. Mind you, we were concerned during the offseason. How's he feel? How is his hamstring? How's his health? And they're like, hey, you playing? Good. Here you go. Catch, receive. We're going to use you a lot, be a decoy, all that. But my point is Kyle Shanahan is cooking up some stuff right now with Mac Jones, and they're able to find success. But where I think people can get carried away is right now teams are coming into games, and historically they're preparing for Brock Purdy, preparing for George Kittle, preparing for other Ayuk maybe. They're preparing for kind of this team as is. Now they have Mac Jones, and that's a thing that throws you off because, well, not only have I not really seen him with this version of the 49ers, I also don't know what they're going to do because they don't have receivers. So you can't really game plan as well because you don't actually know what you're about to get. And so I would be wary and caution, just hold on before you jump on the Mac Jones train and just say, what we're seeing is the hotness, the newness, because when people didn't know who C.J. Stroud was, he was lighting them up. Now that they know and got a better idea what it is, it gets a little tougher. Bo Nix, he's looked all right, but he didn't look like that next step everybody thought because people start to get the film out on you. So my whole point is Brock Purdy has been a stabilizer for them for the most part. He's not the greatest, which is why I think they paid him perfectly. He's right around where he needs to be paid. They didn't have to go Dak Prescott money. And I think he has a great flow with this offense, great flow from the belief in the team. You heard the team talking about him. We want him there. And Mac Jones, to his credit, it said, I am the backup right now. He's not causing any controversy as much as he can. Obviously, we can do that, sports media. Mm-hmm. But that would be my point is you got something good with Brock Purdy. You got the guy you believe in. You got him at a good rate, all things considered. And it's great that you have a backup that you can utilize because, by all accounts, people get injured in the 49ers jersey. So having that backup is an ultimate thing to have in case for some reason you go on a Nick Foles run and you have a capable backup, at least you know you have that. But to me, it's a good situation where you got the guy you believe in, you paid him the money, this is your guy moving forward, but you know you have a capable backup in Mac Jones.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said what you did because we have a guy who agrees with you, and his name is Michael McCorkle-Jones. Here's Mac Jones after the game talking about this budding quarterback controversy building in the Bay.
Well, shoot, man, I just come out and I'm having a good game, and it's good. But listen, man, this is Brock Purdy's team. I'm the backup. I'm just trying to help my team win.
They brought me here as a backup, and that's my job. And Brock's the starter of this team, and right now he's dealing with something. And for him to go out there last week and play when he probably wasn't at full health, like he cares about this team. So I'm just trying to get some wins for him so it helps us down the line.
Again, I'm glad that Mac agrees with you because I don't.
Oh, snap.
We are seeing right now the Brock Purdy 2.0ification of the San Francisco 49ers. Mac Jones, in his first 3 games, leads the NFL in passing yards per game, 301 a game. Uh-huh. He's top 10 in passer rating. He's top 10 in QBR. He's top 10 in touchdown interception ratio. He is doing everything that Brock Purdy did 3 years ago. Remember, Brock Purdy exploded on the scene. Mm-hmm. Not his first season when he played only 6 games, I think. The second season when they made a run to the Super Bowl. That year, Brock Purdy tops in the NFL passer rating, yards per attempt, touchdown percentage, up near the top in QBR, 4th in completion percentage, 5th in passing yards, single season franchise yards total, which is incredible when you consider how many great quarterbacks have played for the Niners. And what you saw from Brock Purdy then in 2023, what you're seeing from Mac Jones now in 2025 is, for as much grief as Kyle Shanahan gets on this show specifically, because Rob Parker hates
he wants
Kyle
him fired.
Shanahan
He wants him fired.
with a passion. His system works. It's like Novocaine. You give it time, it's going to be effective. I am going to scheme some dudes open. Whether I have Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel, or if I have Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, or I have Kendrick Bourne like last night, I'm going to find a way to get these guys open. And if you are on time and on target, and shout out to Mac Jones last night, average time per snap between snapping the ball and throwing it was just under 2.5 seconds, which would be the fastest in the NFL this side of Aaron Rodgers. When he can play within structure, he's as good as anybody in the NFL. And that's something that people like to poke fun about and joke about and say, well, you're a system quarterback and how great could you possibly be? You can make a lot of money and win a lot of games being a system quarterback. No disrespect to you, but Jared Goff, you could say, is a system guy. Jared Goff doesn't have the livest arm. He's not the most fleet of foot. But if you give him the offense that he knows and understands, and he can scheme it up the right way, he is going to deliver it with the best of them. He's going to put it right on the hands so the guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown, can catch the ball yards after catch. He's going to hit Jahmyr Gibbs coming out of a swing route. He's going to turn a 6-yard pass into a 60-yard pass because he put it where it has to be. And Mac Jones, by playing within himself and not trying to do too much, which is what Brock Purdy has done wrong for the last year and a half. Brock Purdy has said so himself. The fact that all these guys are banged up means he's going to put on the Superman cape and he wants to do too much, and that leads to him having a career worst passer rating this season, having the lowest passing yards per game, yards per completion of his career, because he's trying to do everything outside of structure. He's trying to push the ball down the field. He's trying to, you know what? I don't have all my guys. So instead of just taking this 3-yard pass, and I don't know how good my defense is, I'm going to hold it a tick second longer and try to get it down for a 15-yard pass. And that's not what they need with Kyle Shanahan's offense. Mac Jones is making this a real controversy because he's just playing within the offense. He's not doing too much. He's not trying to be Superman. And here's the biggest reason why I think this could be a real thing were it not for the dollar amount that you mentioned with the extension. Mac Jones, for all of his faults and all of his limitations, was a better NFL quarterback prospect coming out of college than Brock Purdy.
Of course.
There's a reason why he was rumored to go in the top 3. There's a reason why he went in the first round. Is because enough people saw the traits that he does have. He's smart between the ears. He's accurate. He makes quick decisions. That could lead to him having a lot of success in the NFL, and you're seeing it playing out right now. Which is, so again, to sum it all up, this should be a real controversy in San Francisco.
So I'm glad you're married, because if you went on a date and after 3 dates, you'll be singing their praises. I'm glad you out the game.
He's been objectively better than Brock Purdy.
I'm glad you're out the game, because here's the difference. When you are simply just the backup, I don't have to act as though I'm a franchise player. Brock Purdy has to act as a franchise player, has to act as the guy who's trying to get this dubbed, just like the other guys, the Josh Allens and the Lamars and the Jared Goff, the guys who have to put it on their shoulders from time to time, a Baker Mayfield. So Brock Purdy has felt the obligation of a franchise quarterback. When you're the backup and you know, as Mac Jones just said, I'm the backup, it's easy for me to come on. It's the opposite. I don't want to rock the boat. Simply want to do what I'm asked, do what the system is, and here we go. When the team is looking at you and saying guys are injured, guys are hurt, Patrick Mahomes, we don't have receivers this year, I need you to do it. Lamar Jackson, we don't have running backs this year a couple years back. Everybody in our backfield is gone but you. You try to make it happen, and that's the difference. The luxury you have as the backup. Mac Jones
didn't have those guys either.
No, what I'm saying is the luxury of being a backup is that you can come in and it's almost like I do exactly as I'm asked. When you are the franchise, there is an onus for you to get it done and make something happen, period. Find a way, period. When you're the backup, you don't necessarily have that. Now, I don't believe Mac Jones is to your point, I don't think he was now the Pro Bowl gets crazy, especially now because nobody wants to go.
Don't disrespect Pro Bowler Mac Jones.
They'd be picking 5th string guys to be put in. Nobody want to go. Don't nobody want to go. Don't you want to go? Yeah, exactly. Seriously. But my point is, he can very much be a quality quarterback, and I think more than ever, and I know we're up against it, we're seeing resurgence in quarterbacks, right? We're seeing Geno Smith all of a sudden become a pro again. We're seeing Sam Darnold become one. We're seeing, obviously, I just mentioned Baker. Jared Goff a cast off, and all of a sudden now he's one of the better ones. This is the era to do that, so I think he's put himself in a great position that somebody's going to throw him a bag, but I don't think if you're John Lynch down to Kyle Shanahan, you've done too much to find your guy to work out a deal. I think you very much say, we've got our guy.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think they're already regretting that Brock Purdy contract?
It's a great question, and I'll answer that on the other side. It's the Odd Couple, Rob G. in for Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington. Stick with your boys, Fox Sports Radio.
Problem is, when you got a podcast like Travis Kelce, and this is one of the biggest stories of the week, you got no choice but to weigh in on it. And let's just say Travis is not a fan of what A.J. Brown's currently doing. Take a listen.
You're 4-0, boss. Come on, man. It's frustrating for A.J. right now, clearly, because he's going to social media to let everybody know how frustrated he is. And where I show my frustration is when we're not rolling as an offense. And I think it's frustration. It's the desire to get it fixed. It's also really hard for me to get mad when we're winning. I think I don't find that energy or that feeling in me if we're winning, if we're having success, if we're putting up points, if we're we're winning football games.
And I'm going to say this. I 100% agree with Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. Kelvin, you could be frustrated. You want to produce more. You're a talented receiver. But there's a time and a place. You talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place to have that conversation. Everything doesn't have to go public. No cryptic messages. Go in, have a meeting with Jalen Hurts and the offensive coordinator and Nick Sirianni, right? And just have, what am I not doing? Am I not getting open? Do I need to run crisper routes? What am I not doing? Why don't we have a connection? You know what I mean? Like there's a conversation to be had. But when you do this, especially, and Travis Kelce made the point, when you're winning, if you're losing, Kelvin, right, and the offense is sputtering, yes, we're not winning. But I'm not contributing. I'm a big-time player. I want to get involved. We need to get this thing going in the right direction. They're still winning. He comes off as a selfish guy who doesn't care about winning, and I think Travis Kelce, to me, is spot on.
I got a couple things for A.J. Brown. First and foremost, you know what I was thinking about? This isn't just a frustration geared towards Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and the Eagles. You know who this is also geared to, Rob? This is also geared towards Tannehill and the Titans. And I think what we're seeing is an overall frustration from A.J. Brown. I think what he is feeling is, I was supposed to be this top-notch Hall of Fame trajectory receiver, stats galore, awards galore, and I think he's realizing, as of now, he won't individually be that per se. But let me break a couple things down. Number one, what I don't like, Rob, I don't like when people throw the rocks, throw the stones, and hide your hand. Don't think, it wasn't geared towards nobody in particular. I'm not reading a book for the team. I just wanted to get some peace in my life. Like, dude, you keep having antics after antic after antics. You're reading books. You're calling out Jalen Hurts last season. You're talking about him this season. Offense can be more explosive after the game where you had your best game. Then you're putting out cryptic tweaks. And Devontae Smith was another receiver who won a Heisman, by the way, who's probably sitting there like, you don't think I want some more receptions too? You don't think I want more targets too? You know who we don't hear much from? Not saying he hasn't said anything, but we know we don't hear much from Devontae Smith, who has been a heck of a receiver in college, has been obviously a speedster and a really good receiver in the pros, but he knows, hey, we're winning, I'm going out doing my job. This is what I think A.J. Brown needs to realize. I'm going to give you a trajectory who he could be if he owns the position he's in. Michael Irvin. What I mean by that is, Michael Irvin, if you just simply look at his stats, they're good. They're good. But what he meant to that team, the big plays he made when his team was needed, some games they ran the ball more with Emmitt Smith. Some games they looked the other way, and some games it was the defense.
Emmitt Smith was bigger than anybody on that team.
Exactly. But Michael Irvin made big catches, made big plays, and was a part of a 3-time championship team. A.J. Brown, you can be Michael Irvin. I know your stats aren't going to be Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson-like. I'm sure you feel you're that type of talent. You're not that good, but I'm sure you feel that way. And I just believe if he just locks in, stays focused, have communication with Nick Sirianni, an offensive coordinator, privately. Have communication with Jalen Hurts privately. Figure the thing out. Fox Sports Radio, it's the Odd Couple. Kelvin Washington, Rob G, and for Rob P on this funky Flashback Friday. And be sure to check out our brand new YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Now all the people seeing Rob and I, the Odd Mob, the YouTubians, we appreciate you watching. Make sure you share, make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you do all of that good stuff. And most importantly, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Go to youtube.com/@oddcouplefsr, youtube.com/@oddcouplefsr, and we love and appreciate the comments and all that good stuff. Again, share it with a friend. Subscribe as well. What are you laughing at already?
I'm reading the YouTubian comments.
What are they talking about?
Sean in Sacramento, who's the de facto
he
president.
Is the president of the YouTubians.
He's on a roll. But one of the things he said was, someone told me Rob G just hit 50 burpees and took a shot of whiskey for the show. He's ready for the grind.
He really, well, I know you.
Yeah.
I know you did a line of something. I don't know, maybe you shot yourself with the
I did.
Whatever you're on. Which one are you on again?
But it's the Wegovy.
Oh.
Wegovy. Doesn't make sense. But
Olympics is what I call it.
But we got some other comments just related to this topic.
Yep.
Scott Lewis says, Mac Jones and Daniel Jones, Super Bowl. I like that.
Ooh, the commissioner does not. Roger Goodell doesn't want none of these Joneses.
Michael Thompson says quite succinctly, tell him, Kelvin. I don't like that.
Okay, appreciate that.
And then there's a lot of people upset about hour one of the podcast. I fixed it, okay? YouTubians, I fixed it.
What was the issue?
It just wasn't published properly.
But
it was live, but it wasn't on the feed.
And you know what? I like that they get mad like that.
I don't.
No, well, that's because it's personal as you. Yeah. But what I mean is they care. They care. They're in. They're waiting. It's like crack. They're like, come on, I need my hit. Give me my fix. Please. And we appreciate you. That's love. They're part of the show. We appreciate it. Real quick, you asked me, do I believe the 49ers are already having buyer's remorse? And
yes.
I simply answered that with no. I'll tell you why. Specifically one game, and then I know we got a break here. You can reply. But if you look at, to me, the best case scenario, like when I vision this person, I think the NFC Championship game versus the Lions is Brock Purdy's, if you're John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, down 17. Mm-hmm. You're totally in the game. You look like you're going to lose. Super Bowl was, within reach, and you're like, and he comes back. And if you recall that game, a lot of that was him running. We didn't even know he could run like that.
Right.
Running, passing, staying in the pocket, getting hit, making plays. And I think when he had a game like that, that shows you I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And again, to your point, you had a great point. He's talked about it. Rob and I have talked about it. Now that he did start to put too much on his shoulder, right? Because and that's human nature. I'm trying to justify I'm worth this money, right? Then you get the money. Now I'm trying to justify that I'm worth the money you gave me. I do think there's an element of that. But I think for me, they realize like that's our guy. And I think he won the locker room. When you hear guys talk about him, his teammates love Brock Purdy. They'll run through a wall for him. And I just think they got their guy. He's not a world beater. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. He ain't Josh Allen. But he's our guy, and we feel like we can win with him to the tune of a Super Bowl appearance. And to the tune, I think they also know if we can ever just be healthy, you see the way they compete. You got to beat those 49ers.
Right.
Mac Jones, Mike Jones, Roy Jones Jr. They're gonna fight and compete because credit them the way they're built. And I just think they feel we got our guy. And Mac Jones is also a part of our system. We can find guys. Mm-hmm. Thank God we found a great backup because you never know.
Yep. No, I agree with you. And as much as I said it should be a quarterback controversy, you said one thing that I think separates Brock Purdy from Mac Jones, and that's the intangibles. Mm-hmm. What he has in spades. Like that's something that you cannot take away from his toughness factor. He's more mobile than you think, but his willingness to stand in there and take those big shots or to run for that extra 3 or 4 yards to extend a drive, like that kind of stuff really matters. And the other thing is, again, as much as I think this is a controversy, I would much rather have to ask my quarterback to reel it back than to say, hey, I need you to take me to another level that I don't know if you can get to.
And that's the thing with Mac Jones.
I think that we've seen with Brock Purdy, he can get to that level, but I think where he's at his best is that sweet spot in the middle. And so occasionally take it up, but most of the time be here. And so I think it's easier to ask him to say, hey, we need you to be more 2023 and less 2024.
Great point. And the sweet spot, I view it as it's my job, John Lynch, to make sure I have guys around him. Right. It's my job, Kyle Shanahan, to cook some things up, and then it's his job to do his job. You get what I mean? So it can't we have to help him be at his best.
Sure.
And that's why I've always said about the Chiefs. If the Chiefs mess around and finally got some crazy top-tier talent and didn't just go.
Well, they had top-tier talent.
But that's my point. I'm saying, but why does it have to be, well, we had it. We don't never need it again. Like, why can't we just sustain top-tier talent? My goodness. All right. We got some more conversation, some football we got to talk about on the other side of Isaac Lowenkron. I'm interested to see what Ilo has cooked up.
All right.
You never know what we're going to get.
Yes, you never do know. Google. Starting in non-Google news in the national.
Rob, go get honored in Connecticut, Rob.
I like Monty's phrase better. Starting in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens rolling out quarterback Lamar Jackson for Sunday's game against Houston because of a hamstring injury. Cooper Rush will get the start at quarterback. Washington Commanders confirmed quarterback Jaden Daniels will start Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers after missing 2 games with a sprained knee. Chargers ruled out left tackle Joe Alt and returner Darius Davis and listed right guard Mekhi Becton as questionable. A short time ago, prior to Game 1 of the WNBA Finals between the Phoenix Mercury and Las Vegas Aces, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert addressed critical comments made about her leadership this week by Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier.
I have the utmost respect for Nafisa and for every single player in our league. They are at the center of everything we do. I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and me personally do not care about them or listen to them. And if the players in the W don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better.
Engelbert was then asked about some of Collier's accusations.
I have been in touch with Nafisa. We've exchanged texts. We're talking next week. Obviously, a lot of reporting, a lot of inaccuracy about what I said or what I didn't say. And I will tell you, I highly respect the players. There's a lot of emotion and passion going on right now because we're in collective bargaining, and so I'll leave it there.
Guys, I'll leave it there for you.
All right, Ilo, appreciate
Ilo.
it. Yeah, that's just the beginning. It is just beginning. I've seen some big-time players, Angel Reese being one of them in the WNBA, who've already kind of like gave it like, yes, go, no Nafisa. Like, they're with it. So it'll be interesting to see the response to this as they're gearing up for their WNBA Finals.
It's going to get messy.
It's going to get
It's going to get so bad.
You know, and we can stay here. It's the Odd Couple, Kelvin Washington, Rob G, and for Rob P on this Funky Flashback Friday. We'll talk about something else from the football in 1 second. But just since we're here, to me, it's going to get messier. You know when somebody says respectfully, you know.
Yes, something super disrespectful is coming.
Respectfully.
Okay.
I do wonder if the WNBA brass, not the players, the brass, were ever prepared for them to actually be at this level of public eye, notoriety, scrutiny, and just attention. Because it's one thing to always like want it, but if you just play here, meaning like this is the level we're operating under, then you only have to do certain things, right? It's like people aren't watching. It's like if all of a sudden you start getting good grades, now your parents are like, wait. And now we're watching, and now that little C+ ain't as good anymore. I see you can get good grades. I see you can be respectful, whatever it is. Point being, WNBA, we're talking about it's making shows that it normally doesn't make, and people are, in a good way, conversing about it and having Twitter debates about it. And I just think over the last couple of years, I don't know if the brass was really ready on how to handle this. And they weren't ready to be a big brand that people are, trying to pay attention to and trying to learn more. Because, again, look, a lot of people are like, yo, I wasn't all in. Now I'm paying more attention. I'm talking about it more. And I think they fumbled some things because of that. Like you fumbled the Olympics not getting Caitlin in there because you understand it. You don't understand. Like, you put her in. Well, what about they'll figure it out because I'm trying to grow the brand. Right, you don't talk to one of your best players like that. If allegedly, if that's what happened. There's a lot of little small things they're doing. The way if players are complaining about refereeing, then you talk about it. You hear what's going on. You try to. I feel like they've just been operating like this is the league. This is what it is. It'll be what it is. And it's like all of a sudden, bam! All eyes are on it, and they weren't prepared to adjust and prepare for what comes with having more eyeballs.
No, you're so right. You can't turn left. I agree with you.
I know, three rights. There's on three rights to get
you end
left.
up in a circle.
Yep.
No, and I'll add to that. I don't think the players were prepared for what was coming. Because do you understand how unusual it is to have a player like Collier, who's one of the best players in the league, to come out and not only be critical of the commissioner, but to have like point by point for 4 minutes of going off on him. Like, for all the talk about Roger Goodell and whether or not the players like him or respect him, and they don't like the way he does business, and he's always about the shield, not about the players. You'll never hear a player come out and say Roger Goodell did X, Y, Z wrong, and this is inappropriate. Because even if they feel that way, they understand this is a partnership. And if we're going to talk trash or we're going to be negative and we're going to say these wild things about the guy in charge, we're going to do it behind closed doors with our PA and your representatives, and we're going to hash it out there. And if it really gets bad, maybe we'll have a strike, but it's never going to get to be personal. And the way this is playing out right now, and has been playing out basically ever since Caitlin Clark brought all the eyeballs, is everything is under a microscope. The front offices and the brass doesn't know how to deal with it. The players still haven't really understood that now that all the eyes are on you, you can't act the way you did 4 years ago. Like, for example, this might be a really odd example. Asia Wilson played great in that elimination game. And if you saw in the post-game conference, the reporter asked, like, hey, how were you able to be as successful and as you were down the stretch? She said, well, my teammates gave me the ball where I like it. And then she makes a joke about liking balls around her, which was a clear sexual innuendo she was referring to. Can you imagine if they ask Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a question like that and he makes some sexual reference during the postgame? Like, no.
I don't even know who you are right now. Alex, you're right. Alex,
we can't do that.
This guy gets highbrow when he gets on this
We
other
can't
side.
be doing that.
Do you listen to our show?
But we are
Do you know what we do every day?
Representative of a multi-billion-dollar. I mean, I guess iHeart. That's a bad example.
Look at that.
But you know
now
what I
iHeart
mean?
broke out here in the streets. No,
there's certain
what
things
I
that come
actually
along
like
with
that.
representing
No,
the league.
I like it. It's funny. It's humorous. That ain't what I'm talking about. I get your point, your sentiment, right? You need to be professionals. Da, 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 da. No, because you know how many times NBA dudes sit up there like this? Somebody says, "Yeah, man, they was just giving it to us hard in the paint," and one of them goes,
like Snickers. Yeah.
Pause. We've had the top players, Chris Paul, James Harden. Pause. Yo, bro. Don't do that, Rob G.
I'm telling you.
Don't get over here and get all highbrow.
Neither side knows how to act like a major
No,
professional
I'm
league.
I'm giving the brass more because the brass is supposed to be, God bless the dead, David Stern, and he didn't do everything, right? Don't get it twisted, because plenty of things I can point out. I didn't like this. But he had this bigger picture, global. Oh, the world want to keep sending pros to these Olympics? Go get the pros.
Right.
Go get Mike and them.
Yep.
Mike, Larry, I thought I was going to retire. No, you're not after this.
David Stern allegedly forced Magic Johnson to be the finals MVP in that first championship.
Right. Why? Because he's the future.
Yeah.
He's about to be the next.
Allegedly.
Right, and allegedly.
Yeah.
But my point is he does what needs to be. Hey, look, the Knicks need to be relevant again.
Yep.
There's this guy coming out of Georgetown that will look great in a Knick jersey. Somebody freeze an envelope. Allegedly. My point is, you do what you got to do when you got to do what you got to do. Okay. And I feel like the brass of the WNBA is supposed to be like, yo, we are about to take full advantage of this experience right now. Caitlin's popping. Paige Becker's popping. Angel Reese is popping. You know what I mean? And you build it up and you grow it. And I just feel like there's a couple of missteps and they don't get in there, kind of like operating at a slower pace and, well, we'll get there, or I don't like her. And man, you're supposed to be thinking bigger. And you've had eyeballs on you that you haven't had really since the beginning of it. But
you don't think the players have had some kind of role in this too?
The players, but I'm going to tell you why. Because the players hating on Caitlin Clark. Dog, when you have the newness of something, a lot of people hate. Michael Jordan was getting a lot of smoke, and people forget that. Mike Tyson was getting smoke. He ain't a real boxer. He only fighting tuna cans. Right. He ain't this and that. Like, people were overselling because, again, the newness. By the way, include fans in this newness. Not just the brass, not just the players, not just fans that know how to operate, right?
Everything around the WNBA feels like
you're
they're a step behind.
Hey, man, these girls are too rough. Have you been watching?
Right.
WNBA been throwing them bows like Ludacris for a minute.
Yes, they have. And
so I think everybody's operating from this newness, man, and not knowing how to play, and should they, I have somebody who always says stuff like, we have a personal text going back and forth. They'll be like, I don't know, Angel Reese doing a little too much off the court, like a little too sexy. You shouldn't do that as a lady. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So she can't live her pop fame life on the side as if SGA ain't walking around with Skims on. But you get what I'm saying? Because now she's a woman. He is. Elijah just looked at me. Yeah, he's one of the Skims ambassadors. He walking around with nothing but some brown Skims on. He brown. You don't know what's going on for a minute. You got to double take. What the heck? So my point, we're all trying to figure this thing out, and I think they're getting exposed because it happened, bam, out the blue. Caitlin Clark takes off. Angel Reese is right there with her. They're competing, and then you're starting to get a multitude of great players coming. They've always had great players, but I mean, the people are
mainstream
coming in from college.
Yes.
People followed Paige. People followed Asia. And you're starting to get that. People follow, and now Sabrina Ionescu, and you just have all this talent. People are like, oh shoot, keeping an eye on this.
Yeah.
And I just feel like everyone's trying to figure this out in real time.
Yeah, it feels like everybody is stuck in like 2018 right now.
Caught them off guard. They're like, oh, shoot.
Everybody from the top down is like, well, this is how we've always done it. Like, Nevisha Collier, again, the idea of a player for caliber speaking out like that is unusual, but they have been a outspoken league with their players forever.
Mm-hmm.
They've been ahead of the curve in all of these social initiatives, whatever you think about it.
That's a great point, Robbie.
They've been at the forefront before anybody was. And so now that they're in a position where they are a bigger league and there are more eyeballs on them, and you're in a situation where however you feel about it, there is something to be said about, hey, let's just keep the main thing the main thing. We don't got to comment on everything. We don't got to talk about everything. We don't got to always have a moment of silence. We don't always got to have initiatives. Let's just focus on growing this. And they can't, and the league can't, and it's just that, it's not happening.
And we'll see, because like I said, they got Juju coming, and she's not going to play this year, but another year away, and you got other players going to be coming. It just, to me, you have and then Caitlin Clark bounces back from health, and like there's a chance you can keep building on momentum, but they got to kind of be at best cohesive as possible. You're never going to be 100% with something locked in step, but as much as possible. All right, on the other side, we have, of course, our play of the day. Plus, Rob G, me and you debated something the other day. You might be right about it. Heavy on the mic. Fox Sports Radio.
Problem is, when you got a podcast like Travis Kelce, and this is one of the biggest stories of the week, you got no choice but to weigh in on it. And let's just say Travis is not a fan of what A.J. Brown's currently doing. Take a listen.
You're 4-0, boss. Come on, man. It's frustrating for AJ right now, clearly, because he's going to social media to let everybody know how frustrated he is. And where I show my frustration is when we're not rolling as an offense. And I think it's frustration. It's the desire to get it fixed. It's also really hard for me to get mad when we're winning. I think I don't find that energy or that feeling in me if we're winning, if we're having success, if we're putting up points, if we're winning football games.
And I'm going to say this. I 100% agree with Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. Kelvin, you could be frustrated. You want to produce more. You're a talented receiver. But there's a time and a place. You talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place to have that conversation. Everything doesn't have to go public. No cryptic messages. Go in, have a meeting with Jalen Hurts and the offensive coordinator and Nick Sirianni, right? And just have, what am I not doing? Am I not getting open? Do I need to run crisper routes? What am I not doing? Why don't we have a connection? You know what I mean? Like there's a conversation to be had. But when you do this, especially, and Travis Kelce made the point, when you're winning, if you're losing, Kelvin, right? And the offense is sputtering, yes, we're not winning. But I'm not contributing. I'm a big-time player. I want to get involved. We need to get this thing going in the right direction. They're still winning. He comes off as a selfish guy who doesn't care about winning, and I think Travis Kelce, to me, is spot on.
I got a couple things for A.J. Brown. First and foremost, you know what I was thinking about? This isn't just a frustration geared towards Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and the Eagles. You know who this is also geared to, Rob? This is also geared towards Tannehill and the Titans. And I think what we're seeing is an overall frustration from A.J. Brown. I think what he is feeling is, I was supposed to be this top-notch Hall of Fame trajectory receiver, stats galore, awards galore, and I think he's realizing, as of now, he won't individually be that per se. But let me break a couple things down. Number one, what I don't like, Rob, I don't like when people throw the rocks, throw the stones, and hide your hand. Don't think, it wasn't geared towards nobody in particular. I'm not reading a book for the team. I just wanted to get some peace in my life. Like, dude, you keep having antics after antic after antics. You're reading books. You're calling out Jalen Hurts last season. You're talking about him this season. Offense can be more explosive after the game where you had your best game. Then you're putting out cryptic tweaks. And Devontae Smith was another receiver who won a Heisman, by the way, who's probably sitting there like, you don't think I want some more receptions too? You don't think I want more targets too? You know who we don't hear much from? Not saying he hasn't said anything, but we know we don't hear much from Devontae Smith, who has been a heck of a receiver in college, has been obviously a speedster and a really good receiver in the pros, but he knows, hey, we're winning. I'm going out doing my job. This is what I think A.J. Brown needs to realize. I'm going to give you a trajectory who he could be if he owns the position he's in. Michael Irvin. What I mean by that is Michael Irvin, if you just simply look at his stats, they're good. They're good. But what he meant to that team, the big plays he made when his team was needed, some games they ran the ball more with Emmitt Smith. Some games they looked the other way, and some games it was the defense.
Emmitt Smith was bigger than anybody on that team.
Exactly. But Michael Irvin made big catches, made big plays, and was a part of a 3-time championship team. A.J. Brown, you can be Michael Irvin. I know your stats aren't going to be Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson-like. I'm sure you feel you're that type of talent. You're not that good, but I'm sure you feel that way. And I just believe if he just locks in, stays focused, have communication with Nick Sirianni, an offensive coordinator, privately. Have communication with Jalen Hurts privately. Figure the thing out. Fox Sports Radio, it's the Odd Couple, Kelvin Washington, Rob G, and for Rob P on this funky Flashback Friday. Also, big shout out to Rob, man. He's going to be honored tomorrow at his alma mater.
Oh, God.
Out there in Southern Connecticut. So, big shout out to him. They're going to be naming the press box after him. It's a big honor for him. He'll have a bunch of family and friends there.
God.
If you follow him.
I don't know what to
Wait,
wear.
if you're going to do it, turn the music down and be Rob.
Okay, just first off, God, you know how long I've been covering the league?
Since 1986 or
since
7.
Moby Dick was a gubby. Now, keep up, K-Dot. But I'll tell you this. Now, knowing that my name's on the side forever, oh, God, my mother and I used to have a terrestrial radio. Do you know what that is, Rob G? Of course not.
I don't.
Here's the play of the day.
Tire Rack play of the day.
Stafford gives Kyron Williams, and he is...
Ball out!
He fumbled it! The Niners are saying they got it. The play was shy of the line to gain. Wait for a signal. They're unpiling everybody at the 1. The 49ers come out of there. Alfred Collins has the football.
Is your Tire Rack play of the day right there. That is, of course, on 49ers radio, where the Rams thought they had the game, getting ready to go ahead and ice that thing out, but no, that was not the case. Tire Rack is brought to you play by the day by Tire Rack. For over 40 years, Tire Rack has been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free, backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. They will come to you. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. And while we're hitting right here, might as well ask you, since it's just sitting right there, you okay with the call?
That call was the fumble where Kyron Williams got punched in the face and then fumbled.
Hey, the punch, we got to talk about the Peanut Tillman.
Yes.
Has it gone too far?
No.
Because you're right
They
about
got
the Kyron
pads
Williams
on.
guy. Kyron Williams took it in the face.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's legal.
I'm pretty sure that's a penalty.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to call that because he just got punched in the face. And it just happened to then go down to the ball.
Right, and then it followed through and hit the ball, and it was a fumble.
I'm like, the Peanut Tillman has gone too far now.
No, it has not.
People are saying, because I started laughing about it. So you want to, all right.
We're here now.
We're here now. You're going to laugh when I tell you what I did after watching that play.
All right.
I punched myself in the arm. Pretty hard. Pretty hard. Hear me out. YouTube, hear me out. Alex, hear me out. Because I was like, we always see the benefit of it, right? Oh, what a defensive play. Punch the ball. I'm like, how many punches do we see when you just took a punch and the ball never popped out, so it wasn't a big deal, so they didn't replay it?
Yep.
But I'm like, dude, just straight up cold cock. Who during this commercial break, who you and I just looking at? Aaron Donald. Imagine Aaron Donald, who might be the swollest human being on earth with 2% body fat.
Right.
Swinging his hardest, but he misses the ball and completely just hits
Which happens 95% of the time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So these dudes are just taking punches that we only celebrate it when the ball comes out. They were like, oh, he popped it out. What an amazing play. That all game long. I'm getting Mike Tyson'd.
Right.
I'm like, hold on, now. You're not about to be swollen up my bicep just because you're trying to get this ball out.
Is it weird that when you're telling that story, my first thought went to Christian McCaffrey?
What one? What part?
Only because he's white.
Okay.
How bruised must he be after a game?
You know, I think
because the bruise, I'm not know if I'm out of turn. They don't show as well on dark skin.
Okay, so wow, you know, you talk about U-turns. So here's the thing about Rob G that I find interesting. I don't know if there's anyone more consumed with race than you, but not race in the sense of like cultural racial things.
Rob,
literal skin.
Caution.
Like literal Rob G's obsession with literal skin needs to be studied.
Why? That's a legitimate question.
You're lucky I love you like a play cousin.
Christian
Otherwise, I would call you out about what you said.
A game.
What did you say the other day? You can't say it because you lose your job. But we were talking about baseball. That's all I'm going to say.
That was a good question. I want to understand.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
You're like
by
a
nature.
3-year-old kid who
I'm curious.
Goes up to a non-black kid who goes up to a black and like wipes their skin and then licks. Like, it's not chocolate.
Why are you not answering the question?
Yes, I'm sure he's bruised up.
Do you think it looks worse than most other athletes?
I didn't. You know what? Yeah, I'm sure there's some purple.
Thank you.
There's some purple marks and blue marks. I just hadn't really gone there. You and your obsession.
You just said you punched yourself in the forearm.
That's to see if it hurt, not to see would I be bruised more than any other race on earth.
That's more justifiable than me saying, "Oh, I bet you Christian McCaffrey got more bruises than Kyron Williams."
Racist.
Because you and Rob, he's actual just says racist stuff. You and your obsession with skin tone. Not concerned about you racially and on a racial end of things like racist or racism.
I feel like I have to be because until you got here, I was the second darkest person on the show.
There is that.
So I almost had to represent.
Chris Broussard, and that's why Chris Broussard, he probably had the opposite.
He was the least.
He wanted to make sure that
show.
everybody knew how black because I'm so light skinned.
I think so too.
That's got to be racist.
That has to be racist.
Alex used to challenge him like, "Hey, you get tan this weekend?" And he's like, "No."
I'm tanner than you.
No,
he would probably.
Right
he probably would.
I've been outside in the backyard doing landscaping.
Yes,
you're watching them do landscaping.
But wait, true. So then why Christian McCaffrey? Like, I mean, why wasn't it? Why wasn't it Mac Jones? I mean, he ain't looking like it's a lot of melanin.
Like
he don't get punched in the arm like that. Yeah, the Peanut Tillman is gone too. That's a 30 for 30 right there. What if I told you that punches actually are legal? Like, because they all of a sudden become everybody is punching. They punch you now.
up? It's two pros and a cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
You ready?
Yes.
I'm Colin Cowherd. This is The Herd.
You are listening to The Dan Patrick Show.
It's the Odd Couple. You know what time it is.
Let's get it.
Fox Sports Radio. Bigger, bolder, and better than anyone in the game. Fox Sports Radio is the #1 sports audio network.
Diverse, fun, entertaining, and driven by the big sports topics of the day.
They had to bolster the offensive line, which they did.
You finally said something right. Congratulations.
That game was incredible. You are wrong.
You could take that trash somewhere else. Wham! We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all, so I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
I'm your favorite fan.
Thank you.
Love you. You're very talented. You're the best.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Great show.
Thank you, Joe. You sound like Joe Pesci.
How am I funny to you?
I can't help but notice that the W-2s for the quarterback look a lot higher.
That's because we're worth it.
You gotta be kidding.
He never was an elite quarterback.
This team is unstoppable.
He made the right call.
You know that's right.
LeBron James is a legend.
No, he's not. He complains all the time.
You say Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, but Eli Manning beat him twice. Wrong.
Wrong.
For 25 years, Fox Sports Radio has dominated the sports audio landscape with the biggest talent and the best programming available.
We talk sports, and we have fun doing it. We talk about life.
Sports radio is where you go after the games are over, and then the discussion begins.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
It is live. It is unscripted. No other medium can touch that.
And that's what makes it special.
Yes.
Who wants some?
Bigger, bolder, better. We are Fox Sports Radio. Yeah.
This evening, prior to Game 1 of the WNBA Finals between the Las Vegas Aces and Phoenix Mercury, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert was asked about Nafisa Collier's allegation that Engelbert told her that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Here was Engelbert's response.
I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's brought in tens of millions kinds of new fans to the game. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there. And I certainly did not say that.
NFL, the Ravens ruled out Lamar Jackson for Sunday's game against Houston due to a hamstring injury. The Washington Commanders confirmed that quarterback Jaden Daniels will start Sunday against the Chargers. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Can this sports writer and this sports fan share a radio show without driving each other crazy? Now, live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, here's Fox Sports Radio's Odd Couple, Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
That's right. It is the Odd Couple on a funky Flashback Friday. Me, Kelvin Washington, Rob G in for Rob Parker. Hopefully you're having a good one as we have now gotten to the weekend. A lot in store this hour. We'll be down with Sean King. That's right, down with the King, former NFL quarterback, Fox Sports Radio NFL analyst. And then also next hour, we're going to have, as we always do during football season, Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM Director of Trading. We'll get you ready for that if you want to know some of the odds and have some fun over the weekend as well. So a lot to get to on this funky Flashback Friday. One of the things I wanted to talk about was we were just hinting on a little bit the last break there was just a great game that ended up being Thursday Night Football. And, you know, Thursday night, it's a crapshoot, Thursday Night Football. You don't know what you're going to get. It's going to be a good one like last night, or it could be absolutely a toilet bowl, as I call them. But we ended up getting a good one between two rivals in the 49ers and the Rams. But ultimately, it came down to a couple of things. And really good game that ends the game, that goes into overtime. And one of the plays that everybody's going to talk about, of course, is that fourth down run by Kyron Williams that Sean McVay decides to go for there. Now, what made it interesting, Rob G., is like they were lined up like they're going for it, held on for a second, 49ers call the timeout, Rams come back out, I think they might even call the timeout, and finally get to the play, and they run a pretty much essentially a quick handoff to Kyron Williams, who's probably, 5'9", 200 pounds?
Behind two wide receivers.
Yeah. Up the gut, and you're just kind of like,
it was a terrible play call.
It was a terrible play call. Now, let me dissect a few things here. Let me get this scalpel real quick. Number one, the reason why it's a terrible play is because you probably have the best receiver in the NFL, since Debo isn't quite what he used to be, of just, if I give you the ball, you're getting 3 yards. I mean, if I just literally, I don't care, you're going to fall forward for 2 to 3 yards.
Yep.
A.J. Brown could be in that comparison as well. He just doesn't get the ball enough. He's the polar opposite of Puka, who I'm referring
he
to.
gets the ball all the time.
Puka gets all the time.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, Puka, give me some of them receptions. I don't get nothing. I don't want him as my quarterback. Puka Nacua gets all the receptions. You know what also Puka does? You see it. You saw it last night. They do little rub routes. Devontae Adams kind of does little things that get him open a little bit, because he's going to catch the ball for 4 or 5 yards and get another 5 or 6 because he's like that. And so the idea that you wouldn't run a play for your best offensive weapon or your other one, and Devontae, who's just huge in general, let him just fall for a yard, and that you would run it with the running back that's not built like that. You're not giving it to Derrick Henry. You're not giving it to, Jerome Bettis, some other guys from back in the day, beast mode, where they're going to get this yard, and you didn't run behind, as you mentioned, the big lineup. You didn't have the bigs out there. So that was just a bad play. And there's no way through timeouts that's what you come up with. Unless, as Sean McVay talked about, he said, essentially, it was a bad call on me. He was mad about going for it. He said he got his ego got in the way, and I do believe that mattered. I think he looked across the field. I think he saw his counterpart in Kyle Shanahan, two of the smarter young guys in the NFL the last handful of years. I think he got too caught up in that. I think he got caught in the fact that why are we even having to try to win this game? We're not blowing them out. They have no receivers. They have nobody out there. They got a backup quarterback. How are we even in a position to even potentially lose this game? I think that weighed in on as well. And I think he just made a bad decision. And when I was watching that, this is one of the things that I have to give credit to. And it drives me crazy. Let me preface, sometimes as a fan of said person and said team, Dan Campbell, and the Lions, because one of the things they've gone for fourth downs at a higher rate than just about anybody. We all know they're going to do it. Is that because that's who we are, meaning the team, they're built like that, and they all know this is what we do? You've heard them talk about it for the last few years. They're like, this is what we do. We practice it. We want to do it. We actually would be mad if we didn't do it. And to a fault, it did bite them in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers as well. But they're prepared for that. And Sean McVay, who is one of the more conservative quarterbacks, coaches when it comes to going for things on fourth down, doesn't really do it often. And as far as the league is kind of trajectory going up, they don't do it as much. I think that's the difference when you're not prepared for it. The Lions do this. They'll go for 2. They'll go for fourth down. They'll go for fourth down and 4th and 6. You know, everybody, okay, we'll go for 4th and 1. They'll go for 4th and 6 if they want to. And they're built for it. They've trained for it. Mentally, they're prepared. And it seems like they always draw up the right play. And you can see Sean McVay got out of his skis. He got into his ego bag. I want to show that I'm the brainiac. I want to show it's not Kyle. I want to show that we're going to be big and we're going to do this and we're going to win the game. And he got a little, and the Rams right now this season, there's been some struggle with that. This isn't a him thing. This is maybe a special teams coach. How are you getting kicks blocked regularly now? Why are you missing kicks regularly now? And Sean McVay is an incredible coach, but right now there've been a couple of games where they're probably, they wake up today like, how are we not 5-0? How are we not 5-0? We make a field goal against them, them being the Eagles. We get this fourth down. We score. If I don't overthink it, I have the best player with the ball is who? Matthew Stafford. Let him throw one of his little side passes to Puka. Now we're sitting here 5-0, but instead they're 3-2, and I mentioned it to us yesterday when Rob was here. Said they got to win this game because now 49ers are 4-1. Seahawks will have their game with a chance to be 4-1, and you just don't want to keep falling down the division thinking, oh, we'll bounce back because you just don't know. And there's other teams, right? We look at the NFC North. Looks like the Lions could win the division or at least be right there with the Packers. There's other, you just don't know how things work out where you look at yourself and you're like, how the heck do we not make the postseason this year? But that was an example of me of just not being overly prepared for those types of things. When you look at the counterpart of an example like a Dan Campbell, where you can not want us to do it, but we're going to, and this is what we do, and we're ready to execute it.
Because this is who we are.
Because this is exactly who we are.
No, I agree with you. And I'm not going to say, I won't go so far as to say that Sean McVay, is shook when it comes to Kyle Shanahan, but he definitely doesn't act like himself when he's coaching against Kyle Shanahan. And maybe it's because he had that 11-6 regular season record head-to-head, and the one win, again, shout out to Rob Parker, that he has in the postseason. They faced off once in the playoffs, NFC Championship game. If Jaquiski Tartt catches an interception that hits him in the chest, then he's 0-1 in the playoffs too.
Boy, if he got a penny for every time y'all bring up his name,
we're keeping his memory alive.
Millionaire.
Right? So someone's got to. I'm glad it could be the odd couple. But Sean McVay, who is a great coach, he is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He has his own tree, like where half the league is guys who either worked with Sean McVay or knew Sean McVay at a certain point in time, so they got hired as a job in the NFL. He is a phenomenal coach, but there is something about when he goes against Kyle Shanahan, and maybe it's because McVay technically is part of Kyle Shanahan's tree, if you want to play that game, where he always feels like, to your point, I gotta one up this guy. Like we both know what we want to do, and we both know each other inside and out. So I'm gonna zig when I normally didn't because he expected me to zag. So I kind of gotta overthink and oversmart my own self to beat this guy. And that's a problem because you're going to face them twice a year. Normally, when these teams are healthy, they're going to be really good, and there's a good chance they might face each other in the postseason. So if you can't allow yourself in a game like last night where Matthew Stafford's known for 389, 3 touchdowns, no picks, to your point, you have the best player on the field in Puka Nacua, who, aside from being the best wide receiver this season, he's arguably been the best player, like this side of Lamar Jackson, just on a snap-by-snap basis. He's been that good. And your decision is, after a timeout, to run a running halfback dive behind 2 wide receivers.
With a small back.
With a small running back. It's like, the obvious answer is too obvious. I can't do that because Kyle's expecting me to be obvious. So I gotta really outsmart him here by calling something like this. And that's a problem. But to your final point, and this might be my bigger takeaway from last night's game, is I don't know if the Rams are good. Like, and this hurts me to say because my dad, rest in peace, is a diehard Rams fan. Even in heaven, he's a Rams fan. I'm sure
he's mad at you. We're looking at you right now.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's about to say, son.
I'm sure he would have called me like, man, did you see that game last night? What the hell were they doing? But they beat Houston, who we know now is not any good. It was 14-9. It was a struggle in that game. They struggled for 3 quarters against Tennessee, who was winless at 0-4. Those two teams are combined 1-7. The only reason Houston even has a win is because they faced Tennessee last week, so one of them had to win, right?
Yep.
Philadelphia spotted them an entire half of football where they didn't show up and still found a way to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Last week against Indianapolis, which is a good win for them because Indianapolis is much better than people think. If you watch that game and you're not just looking at the box score, A.D. Mitchell has a long touchdown where he, drops the ball going into the end zone.
Why people can't just wait till they get in the end zone?
Why do they got Deshaun Jackson it every time? But that happens. And on what should have been the game-winning touchdown run by Jonathan Taylor, A.D. Mitchell again has a phantom holding call, which wipes it out, which eventually preserves the win for the Rams. And then you happened last night where they go against a shorthanded team, which statistically this season was the biggest upset in the NFL, even bigger than the Browns beating the Packers a couple of weeks ago. According to Vegas, that win last night by San Francisco was the most improbable victory of the young NFL season. So you have 2 wins against bad teams, Houston and Tennessee. You blow a game against Philadelphia. You blow a game against a shorthanded San Francisco 49ers team. And you have, I guess you would call a good win against the Colts, but we all know what should have happened in that game. What our eyes tell us is you lost that game. They had you dead to rights, and you got saved by a couple of fluky plays. So I ask you again, are we sure that the Los Angeles Rams, with Matthew Stafford, who's playing really well, Puka Nacua looks like the best player in football, Devontae Adams having a resurgent season, are we sure they're actually even any good?
I'll tell you on the other side. It's the Odd Couple, Rob G in for Rob Parker on a funky
Elijah's mad
Flashback
right now.
Friday. Stick with your boys. It is the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Speaking of guys who are on a bad little run right now, the New York Metropolitans are 0-4 on the season. And I don't know if you guys remember this stat. We had it earlier in the week. But Justin Fields, their quarterback, their new franchise guy, the guy that they jettisoned Aaron Rodgers for, so they can give him the big bag. In his career, this is a fun stat, Justin Fields is 0-25 when his opponents score at least 21 points. He's the only winless quarterback out of 46 quarterbacks in the sample size over the last 5 years.
That's unbelievable.
This is a crazy
Kelvin,
stat.
you got to admit, that's an unbelievable
You ain't got to ask me to admit. That's horrendous.
Yeah. So
come on, bro. That's embarrassing, man.
It's all bad in New York right now. But even still, even with all that's gone wrong, Justin Fields is maintaining a positive attitude. He's still smiling at the podium. And when asked how he's able to stay upbeat, he raised some eyebrows with his answer. Take a listen.
I mean, we're blessed at the end of the day. You look at the bigger picture in life, we're getting, paid well to play a child sport. So I think that's one. Just like I said, just looking at the bigger picture, no matter what everybody goes through, at least this is my mindset. No matter what I go through in this game, I'm always going to keep a positive mindset just because I know how blessed I am.
I'm sorry, Kelvin. I don't want to hear that. And I get it. Yes, we all in that situation. You know what I mean? Like you got the family and the health and the kid. I get all that. But I want to hear my quarterback pissed off that they're 0-4 and that the offense has stalled since week 1 and I'm not playing up to par and this is not what we signed up for and Aaron Glenn and I have weapons and this is frustrating. We're going to turn this around. I don't want to hear like I'm playing a kid's game for a lot of money and at the end of the day it's just a game and it don't really matter in the grand scheme of life. That's not what I want to hear. It's not what I want to hear. I don't. We all know that it's sports and it's a distraction from real world things. That's a given. You don't have to tell me that. What's more important, health or your or your percentage of third down conversions. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. But to sit up there and not show me that you're angry or concerned or have a sense of urgency or talking about trying to be better and figuring it out, that's all I want to hear from a quarterback. Not that I'm getting paid well and this is a kid's game, and at the end of the day, none of this really matters. Because that's what he said.
So let me tell you something that's never going to go well with the general population when you're a millionaire. Talking about paid to play a kid's game. He's right in theory, but it will never. Nobody wants to hear that when our economy is going through it. Price of eggs and milk is crazy. Have you been to Chick-fil-A lately? A single person's meal is now like $16, $17. I looked in the back seat. Are my kids with me? It's just me. And the girl looked at me. You know, I'm gonna tell you a true story, Robs. Both of y'all. Other day, I'm in CVS going to get some deodorant. I had to hit the button because it's all locked up like it's in prison. I didn't know deodorant we in prison.
Oh,
and
that's easy.
the lady, right. And the lady comes, and I say, man, it's really like that you got to lock up this? Like, she said, yeah. And she says to me, the price is as expensive as deodorant is. I don't blame people for stealing. That's a worker. She's saying how hard it is out here. So when you say we get paid to play, nobody wants to hear that. Justin Fields. Now, here's my other thing that I would recommend to Justin Fields. The other thing is this. We know in the grand scheme of things, he's right? We're all blessed to be alive.
Yes.
We're blessed to have our family. But
we're blessed to have a radio show every night.
Blessed to have a radio show. But here's my thing. You know my phrase, Rob. There's a time and a place for everything. Being 0-4, not looking great, you ain't playing great, that ain't the time to necessarily say that, especially, I'm going to jump back a few weeks ago. When Josh Allen said it, and I wasn't as mad as Josh Allen saying it as you were, because Josh Allen, the context of that question was, when are you going to win the big one? When are you going to win the Super Bowl? At least he's in position to compete for a championship, right? At least he's winning. He's an MVP. Nobody in Buffalo questions his leadership as he laying it all out there, blood, sweat, and tears. Nobody in Buffalo. He is the Buffalo Bills. Justin Fields, people question, should you even be on the field? This might, hold on. DJ Ali Alex, this might have to make my Saturday making pancakes for my daughter's playlist right here. It is Fox Sports Radio.
You know damn well you're making no pancakes.
I do. What?
No,
oh, my gosh. Oh, hold on.
Alex.
Cut the music, Alex. Cut the music. Cut the music.
No one's looking. It's just me and you talking.
Cut the music.
Is Rob here?
Come on, Alex, right here.
Alex, go ahead, Rob G. I'm texting Alex right now. My wife.
Does Kelvin make his own pancakes, or does he have a staffer do it for him?
So he probably has a staff for weekdays, and on weekends, K-Dot probably steps up and is like, let me make you guys a meal.
Call. Get this number. You ready? I'm about to give you this number.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not calling your wife.
Because y'all not going to disrespect me right now. Okay? In front of YouTube, in front of everybody. No, okay? You ready? 248-320-8479.
He just gave you the Mike Jones phone number.
I did. It sounded like that. No, it's going down. Okay?
We are not calling her.
Let me text her first because she's going to ignore you. It's going down. With that being said, because don't disrespect me, Roger.
Don't disrespect
me and my pancake batter.
Say what you want about my sports take.
You can say what you want.
Pancakes out of it.
Crack all the jokes about, calling me an elitist and, the gated community. But what you're not going to disrespect is your boy with the spatula. Okay? When I'm flipping the pancakes, it is look at the flick of the wrist. Like that's look at the flick of it. When I'm in there making my spaghetti, when I'm in there making steaks, when I'm in there making up whatever fish dish I'm doing, don't disrespect. Chef, they don't. You know who the original Chef Boyardee is, right?
Who?
Chef Boyardee.
Oh, God.
Chef Boyardee. Don't disrespect me.
Nobody believes you. You need more people.
Don't disrespect me like that. Okay, I might not be this, I might not be that, but one of the things that I am.
There's only one way to prove all this, and that's for you to bring the food that you cook in for the rest of us and let us judge.
Now, Rob G might have been right on that.
And I say people, not person. He's got people on staff.
First of all, Rob G, let's just go here for a minute.
Okay.
Where do we live? We live in Los Angeles.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who have people, as you like to say.
Yes.
Don't act like I'm exclusive to this, like I'm in some 1%er thing. Mad people got people. Matter of fact,
then why are you ashamed of it? You're like, yeah, I'm blessed. I got a staff of people.
Matter of fact, you have people.
No, I don't.
Who just is taking care of the work in which you are doing?
But I'm paying them, and they're helping me to do work.
Did you find some people?
It's not like they're full-time on staff.
I don't have a rebuttal to that.
Thank you.
Currently, I'm working on a rebuttal. I don't have one of that. First of all, don't. I
was trying to act like the common man, but the common man.
I'm very much the common man. Okay? And you know what I'm not going to do? I learned not to do years ago?
What's that?
And YouTubians don't do this either. You don't have to do the Poor Olympics.
What's the Poor Olympics?
Glad you asked.
Okay.
Man, no, you ain't have it hard as me, man. No, we was eating just butter and bread every night.
Right.
No.
Grinding.
Man.
We don't run from the grind. Scott offered me a raise to do this show today. I said, nah, hold that. I'm running from the grind.
See, that is where I would be upset with you. Because I found myself in many years doing the Poor Olympics with other people. Like, no, we didn't even have electricity. No, we didn't have. I'm like, wait. Why are we battling out on who was
who had less stuff?
Who was Mo P? Oh, Mo Po.
Okay, I got good news and bad news.
All right, what's the good news?
Good news is you said the number off air, so that's good news.
Yes.
Bad news is she didn't pick up.
Yeah, I figured she didn't pick up.
See?
I'll get her at some point.
Told you.
I tried.
I'll text her to answer.
I love her professional voicemail, by the way.
Don't listen.
Have you heard Dub's voicemail?
Is it funny?
Oh, my God. It's not funny. It's just, like, very professional. Like, he sounds like a newsman on the
Really?
air. Yep.
Thank you
What
for
do you mean,
calling
sounds
my
like
number.
a newsman. What do you think I do with my mornings? I get up at 3:50 in the morning for no reason.
You're like two different people, and I love it.
I can't argue.
I love it about you.
I can't argue.
Because if I call you first time for the meeting, pulling the curtain back, I'll call you. I get the voicemail. Hi, you've reached Kelvin Washington, Spectrum News 1, Fox Sports Radio. I'm not available right now, but leave your name and number at the beep. I will call you back as soon as possible. Cheerio.
And then cheerio?
And then you call him, and then he calls you back. Bruh, Rob G, let me tell you, I'm doing what I'm doing out here in these streets. And it's like the duality of man, and we love to see it.
You did say that once. You were like, yo, the you and Fry, the you that I deal with on the daily, and then the you I turn on my TV and I see you, two different. No, just listen, it's an articulate, suited up version of myself. You get the.
You do have nice suits, by the way, on TV.
Thank you. That was a nice thing you ever said about me. All right. Let's get back to these questions. I told her, never mind, don't answer these fools. She said, okay. Business, by the way.
I don't want to lie to America.
Business, no, but don't. See, now we're right back at it.
Okay, my bad. All right.
Business fluctuations make running your manufacturing business complex, but staffing your business doesn't have to be. Let Express Employment Professionals Provide the workforce you need. Go to expresspros.com. See, that's all I did. I'm with expresspros.com. Found some people to come work for
There
me.
we go.
Okay, that's all I did. Find a location near you. That's expresspros.com. We got a couple more minutes
Well, before we
here
get to this topic, can I read this YouTube comment talking about now they're battling on see who's poor on YouTube.
See, here go the poor. I told you don't do the poor Olympics.
This is my favorite. This is Clay G on YouTube. We grew up eating sliced glizzies in a bowl with pork beans and no bread.
First of all, I call that a win.
Me too. How is that poor?
I had a glizzy in my mouth.
So I'm going to one-up you now. Who was that?
Clay G.
Clay G. True story. When my wife would go out of town for work, and you know how you know this. You married, Elijah's married, and when your lady out of town, you get there like, yes, what do I want to do? What do I want to eat? That kind of thing. I would ground up some beef or ground turkey and put it in some baked beans, some Bush's baked beans. That I called it ghetto chili. It was phenomenal.
And it tastes phenomenal.
And I could be a gazillionaire and would still do that. Some things just hit. Some sliced up glizzies and some pork. What? You was eating good.
You was eating good.
All right.
If you ain't never had to unwrap your bologna, don't talk to me.
Listen, fried bologna sandwich, a little mustard. Struggle meals were good. Sometimes struggle meal, a little spaghetti on some bread, and that's all you got.
It tastes fine.
Struggle and nothing. Do you know about the triple decker peanut butter and jelly?
No.
One, you put the peanut butter.
Okay.
Put the jelly on a slice.
Okay.
Slap that like you normally would. Right. On the back end, put the other peanut butter, and then another jelly on another piece.
Okay.
Full for 3 days.
All right, I got you.
All right. What did you ask me?
Are the Rams any good?
The Rams, what about?
They're not as good as this glizzy.
They're about good as the ghetto chili and a triple decker peanut butter jelly. No, I'm gonna be very quick with this. The Rams are good. I'm gonna tell you a couple of reasons why the Rams are good. The Rams need to be better at closing, but the Rams are good. When you have Matthew Stafford playing at the level he's playing at right now, where he is actually now they have an advantage. They played the first game of this week, so he's leading the league in passing yards.
Yes,
but he's leading it by a substantial amount. That even if Dak Prescott, who's second,
even on the yards per game, he's first.
Yep, there you go. Yards per game. You look at the yards total. You look at the offense. They're second in sacks. They're second in passing. They're third in offensive leaders right now. I mean, you just look at a lot of these stats, and the Rams are playing very, very well. Kyron Williams. Touchdowns is crazy, especially since 2023. He's doing phenomenally with touchdowns.
Tied with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Who will probably have like 2 this week, whatever. But the Rams are a good team. Where I question the Rams have not, at least remind me if I'm wrong, under the Sean McVay, I don't feel like they've been dominant. I feel like they've always been good. I feel like there's that next tier up, and they don't get there. They don't get in that.
No, they stay in that 10-11 wins.
Yeah, and that's where they're missing. That when the Philly just goes crazy, which could mean as much as we don't think it this year. You mess around and look up, they might go 14-3.
Right, exactly.
But when Patrick Mahomes was going crazy, when Philly, when Lamar, with Josh Allen even last year had a really good, 15-2 and 14-3. So that's the one thing. McVay's teams end up overachieving. Like the last couple of years, you're like, oh, they're 3-4, 3-5, then they go on a run. So they end up being good. You just don't know, and I do wonder why he can't get to that just pure, unadulterated dominance. Like, we're flat out blowing everybody. Like, say what you want about the Lions. Their point differential last year, they were blowing everybody out. Good teams, bad teams. You're getting this smoke, and now after the first game, they're doing it again. That's one of the things why I do wonder why Sean McVay team can't just be flat out. Why can't they just go, 15-2, 14-3, even a 13-4? Like, we just kicked everybody's butt week in, week out. That's the one thing. You're just quick. What's that missing little thing where they can't be top tier?
I think part of it is, and we'll try to be as quick as possible. Part of it is that everybody knows the McVay system now because it's
good point.
Permeated throughout the NFL.
Yeah,
that they just do not blow teams out the way you think that they should. When you consider what kind of talent that they have, and you're like, hey, you look up, you're like, well, I mean, they got Stafford, they got Adams, they got Nicole. They only scored 14 points against Houston.
Yeah.
They couldn't really move the ball until the third quarter.
Remember they had that run where they couldn't score.
Yeah, end of last season, the last month of the year, they're averaging 18 points a game.
Yeah,
and it's like you're that doesn't make sense to me. Now they're winning, credit to them, and winning is an art form as a Raider. I can tell you that right now. But I just always feel like there's something that's not quite there, as you alluded to.
Yeah. All right. Well, then that's why I say they're good, but they're not as dominant as you would hope they could be. We got Sean King on the other side. We'll talk to him. Some NFL headlines right now. Ilo's going to get you set on what's trending.
Thank you, Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, you got it. No, hey, say it with your chest.
Chef Boyardee.
There we go. I might bring you in a plate.
What do you mean might? All right. Like I said, put your cooking where your mouth is.
That's true. That's fair.
In the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens today ruled out quarterback Lamar Jackson for their game Sunday against Houston because of a hamstring injury. Cooper Rush will get the start at quarterback. Washington Commanders confirmed that quarterback Jaden Daniels will start Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers after missing 2 games with a sprained knee. Chargers ruled out left tackle Joe Alt and returner Darius Davis, listed right guard Mekhi Becton as questionable. This evening, prior to Game 1 of the WNBA Finals between Phoenix and Las Vegas, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert addressed critical comments made about her leadership this week by Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier.
I have the utmost respect for Nafisa and for every single player in our league. They are at the center of everything we do. I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and me personally do not care about them or listen to them. And if the players in the W don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better.
Engelbert was then asked about some of Collier's accusations.
I have been in touch with Nafisa. We've exchanged texts. We're talking next week. Obviously, a lot of reporting, a lot of inaccuracy about what I said or what I didn't say. And I will tell you, I highly respect the players. There's a lot of emotion and passion going on right now because we're in collective bargaining, and so I'll leave it there.
As for the game itself, Phoenix and Vegas tied at 21 after the first quarter. Guys?
Ilo, thank you so much. Appreciate it. It is the Odd Couple, Rob G, and for Rob P, Kelvin Washington on this funky Flashback Friday. We're joined now, as we always are, during the football season. Our man, we are down with the king, Sean King, former NFL quarterback, Fox Sports Radio NFL analyst. Sean, what's up, man? Happy Friday to you.
What's up, Sean?
What's up? Happy Friday, man. Rob playing hooky, huh?
Yeah, well, Rob is, to his credit, he is being celebrated at his alma mater, and he is getting ready to do that tomorrow. He'll be in New Haven, Connecticut, Southern Connecticut.
God. Oh, God.
And he's going to honor him with the press box. I'm sure you probably got an invite.
Of course he sent me the invite. They're naming the press box after him. Congratulations, Rob.
If you ever have met him and if he has your number, you got the invite. Without a doubt. Sean, answer this question for me and Rob G here. Rob G asked me a great question. He said, specifically this season, he said, I don't know if the Rams are good, like how good they really are. And I said, I think they are good. So, but the more interesting question for me is, why aren't Sean McVay teams dominant? You get what I mean? Like if there's been periods where Josh Allen, like last year, the Bills were dominant. The Lions last year, dominant. The Eagles have had years, dominant. Why are Sean McVay teams, they kind of overachieve? We all kind of go, oh, they're 3-5, and then they go on a 5-game run or whatever. Last year, they couldn't score more than 18 points for a handful of games. What is it about that? Even this year, they could be 5-0, but they're not.
I think you have to give them credit for the reset they did. People forget Aaron Donald retired. They moved on from Jalen Ramsey. Cooper Kupp's not there. Like a lot of the core pieces of that initial run, the Super Bowl win, are not there.
That's a fair point.
They deserve a lot of credit. I still think they're a couple pieces away. The alarming thing for me, they're undersized on the back end of their defense. They could not tackle the 49ers. How many times last night did the 49er ball carrier get yards after initial contact? So when I a field goal, you get extra point block, Kyron Williams fumbles on the goal line. Like, you take away any of those things and they probably win. But big picture, they've got to figure out how to get the ball carrier on the ground. They're very light on the back end. A lot of athleticism, but not a lot of size. Skinny guys, thin frame guys. To me, that's going to be their Achilles heel as this season continues.
Well, sticking with that game, to the other side, though, the San Francisco 49ers, Mac Jones, who? He might be starting a quarterback controversy, currently leads the NFL in passing yards per game. He's top 10 in pass rating, top 10 in QBR, top 10 in touchdown-interception ratio. What are your thoughts on what Mac Jones is doing right now, especially with the shorthanded Niners offense?
It magnifies the mistake that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers made a couple years ago. They had a chance to sit tight and draft Mac Jones, and they would have had 2 extra first-round picks over the last 2 years. Who knows what those would have turned into? For some reason, they didn't take the guy that was a perfect fit coming out of Alabama. Think about Mac Jones with Devontae Smith and those guys and Steve Sarkisian. He fits the Kyle Shanahan system perfect. Why they would give up all the asset capital they did to move up and take a raw talent like Trey Lance still baffles me. But I think this just magnifies that mistake.
I didn't even think that's a good point. Rob G and I had a whole conversation about it.
That's a very good point.
That's a very, very good point. Sean King, our guest here on The Odd Couple, Rob G in for Rob P and Kelvin Washington on a Funky Flashback Friday. I want to stick with one more thing from that game. Were you down with the call? Did you like the call going for fourth with Kyron Williams, fourth down, Rams trying to go ahead and get that and then ultimately try to win that game? Did you like the call? Would you like to see something different, or would you rather them kick the field goal?
The play in and of itself wasn't a bad call. The way he presented the play was terrible. It was a situation where San Francisco had 8 men in the box, and he ran the ball with Jordan Whittingham and Puka Nacua as the primary blockers. Mm-hmm. That's why the play didn't work. If you're going to run that play, I think you got to be in your big personnel, 3 tight end, big-bodied guys that can actually change the line of scrimmage, and you got a better chance. I think McVay would tell you it's not the play call, it was the presentation of the play. Like 2 receivers trying to block a DN and a linebacker is generally not going to work.
Yeah, that's an understatement. The other big story this week, well, there's 2 really, but one of them I want to talk about. Shedeur Sanders, that whole fiasco going on in Cleveland where they benched Joe Flacco, and yet Shedeur stays as the number 3 quarterback there in Cleveland. Number one, your thoughts on him not being elevated to number 2. And secondly, it was reported earlier today by The Athletic that one of the reasons why he's not being elevated to the depth chart is that when Cleveland drafted him, they only ever viewed him as a developmental prospect and never was seriously in their long-term plans at quarterback. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I think you'd have to be inside the meetings to have the actual factual truth. The thing that popped into my mind was, one, Dylan Gabriel deserves the full support of everybody with this opportunity. Mm-hmm. And having Shedeur as the backup, if Gillen plays bad, then automatically what does the tenor and tone become? Let's go to Shedeur. Also, and I'm not sure exactly, but a lot of teams don't keep the third quarterback on the active roster for game day. And if the third quarterback plays, none of the other quarterbacks can go into the game. So I looked at it, say Dylan has to come out for a play, for equipment or something. If the third stringer goes in, then none of the other 2 could play. So that's how I was looking at it. And I will know for sure if I'm right or wrong. If at some point Shedeur starts and Flacco's the backup and Dylan's the third, then the way I looked at it makes sense. If not, it kind of is what it is, guys. Like, here's the thing with this whole thing. Shedeur chose to approach the draft process in the way he wanted. It didn't work. You alienated different teams. You told the Ravens not to draft you. Say the Ravens take Shedeur in the 3rd or 4th round like they wanted to. He's starting Sunday. The Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. So he made choices. Now you got to live with those choices. You can't play the victim. It's going to play out how it play out. When he gets his opportunity, if he gets it, he got to be ready to go.
Yeah, well, he's gonna. Obviously, I just have a feeling it's not going to go anywhere, too. And we kind of knew going into the season this will be one of the bigger storylines. And
let me say this before we leave this, because I know there are a lot of coaches that listen to this, a lot of young quarterbacks. When you take the line that Shedeur has taken, you don't ever get to play victim, and you don't ever get to make an excuse if you perform bad. If you take the humble approach, the team is bigger than I approach, you get to be Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. Cam Ward hadn't played great yet, but nobody's attacking Cam Ward because they look at Cam as a good guy. We're going to give him time. Yep. We're going to give him grace. And so that's what I think Shedeur is finding out. He's finding the other side of being flamboyant, braggadocious, and you can choose to do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying you got to live with the outcomes of that choice.
Sure. And you know what? Dang it, Sean, I thought I was going to move on, but I blame you. So let me add to that. I look at what his response from his father was. And he said, he laughed. I don't know, did you see it at all, Sean? He said, he said, good one, son. And one of the things that I think the difference is, he's not you, Dion. You could come to the draft iced out, golded out that era, gold everywhere, Jerry curl dripping, looking good. Because you were a, 3rd or 4th pick. Yeah. You were that guy. You were that guy once you got to the league. And I think the difference, so you can do certain things. You were so much that guy, you played in MLB and World Series games. Right. Like, he's not that, and there is a different approach that has to be taken at times. You have to be a little humble pie. Go ahead.
I love Deion Sanders. I want him to succeed at Colorado. I think he's a great marketer. I think he's probably one of the best personal brand ambassadors we've ever seen as a professional athlete. He knows absolutely nothing about quarterback. And that's what I think the disconnect is. Deion played a position. I played quarterback for the Bucks versus Deion. I could take Deion completely out of the game by saying, I'm not going to throw the ball there.
Right.
So when you play a position where you can be eliminated and you can't control it, you have to go above and beyond personality-wise in order to create a brand, in order to be well-known. Or no matter how good you are, you end up being Darryl Green. Nothing wrong with being Darryl Green, but he's not going to get the marketing opportunities Deion does. He's not flamboyant like Deion. The thing that I would tell Shador, you play quarterback. To get outside opportunities at that position, you touch the ball so much, you're in the spotlight so much, all you have to do is be good. You don't need the extras.
That's real.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the disconnect is. Deion knows how to do it his way, but his son, the only one of the sons that ended up really having pro ability, happens to play quarterback. And Prime wants him to be Prime Junior, but he plays a position where people don't really accept that kind of braggadocious energy at that position, especially for somebody that's unproven.
That's the key part to me, the unproven.
Yep. All right, Sean, we'll get you out here on this one. We got about a minute and a half left. Lamar Jackson's out this week with a hamstring injury. There's reports now he's going to be out through the bye week. With Baltimore at 1-3, number one, do you think that's the wise move to rest him through the bye? Can they even afford to do it? And number two, what's wrong with the Ravens? I know you got a minute, but quickly.
Well, one, I don't think they're resting Lamar. You can say what you want about Lamar. The one thing he's never shown us is that if he's capable of playing, he doesn't play. Like, I know they had the one contract dispute at the end of the year where he didn't go to the playoff game, whatever, but over the course of his career, he's been available. So I would presume that he's not capable of performing Sunday. Having said that, the Ravens got complacent. They stopped paying attention to detail. They stopped prioritizing the fundamentals, and that's what's gotten them beat. Protecting the football, making tackles in space, having the right pad level, attacking the right hip, fundamentally sound on my throws, seeing the ball in on my catches. They got away from the fundamentals and having attention to detail, and now they're losing close games that they would normally win. Can they fix it? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Absolutely, because of the injuries.
He is Sean King. Appreciate you, man, as always. We'll do it again next week.
Enjoy your weekend. Hey, last thing before I go, Florida State is beating Miami.
Ooh! There you have it. You got it from him.
I'm putting some money down.
Yeah, put some money on that, bank on that, Sean. We'll talk about it next week as well. Appreciate you as always, man. All right, the Padres, they have the right to be upset, and they're saying maybe it is time to bring something to the game. We'll tell you what that is. It's the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
He is now one loss away, coming up on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys, from becoming the first 0-5 rookie head coach in Jets history.
I got news for you. He don't need that win for me to already think Aaron Glenn is the worst coach in Jets football history. I'm already there.
Why are you
That's
there,
how long it took me. And I told you about one thing. All that showboating and cutting a player because he fumbled and all that and the bravado. And you just talked about it, Rob G, like screaming and carrying on and all that. Dude, your team is undisciplined. 13 that's a reflection of the coach. We agree with me on that? Penalties. 13 penalties. And do you know who they lost to last night? The Dolphins. They don't even get any worse than that. The Jets have turned into the general hospital of the NFL. When you play them, you get well. Miami was starving for something, some medicine, some help. And guess what? The Jets delivered. That's what they do. They make it easy for other teams. Aaron Glenn hasn't changed anything. That BS that they tell everybody about culture. He came from a winning culture in Detroit. He's going to transfer that over to the Jets. Culture starts with winning. That's how you transfer a culture over. If you don't win, I don't care about all that other stuff. I've told you 1,000,000 times. Pro sports has a short menu, wins and losses. And when they lose to the Cowboys in New Jersey on Sunday, he'll be 0-5. Remember, this is the guy who told Aaron Rodgers to hit the road, right?
Yeah.
He did. He's the one who's walking around and talking about he's going to change everything and we're not going to tolerate this and that. And if you fumble a ball, did they cut anybody else from last night from the fumbles? Did Justin Fields get cut? What was the other running back who fumbled at the goal line? Was he cut? I'm just asking. Well, what is it? You're not tolerating that or not tolerating that from a bottom feeder? From some guy you use as a sacrificial lamb to try to push some narrative that you're not having it and it's totally different now with you in charge. The Jets haven't changed. Aaron Glenn hasn't changed one bit. That team is pathetic. They couldn't even compete. I don't care what the score was. Did they compete in that game against the Dolphins?
It was ugly.
Ugly game. That's where I'm at with Aaron Glenn. So go ahead. Yell at your team, all that bravado and all that. How about coach better? How about do a better job at coaching your team up so they don't have to go to Miami and get embarrassed by a terrible Dolphins team? Because that's what happened last night. And now you're about to make history. I've never, considering how bad the Jets are, I can't believe a coach hasn't been 0-5.
That's actually more shocking than anything.
That's shocking. And guess what? Aaron Glenn will wear that proudly because he's earned it.
I cannot believe we're 4 games in and you're going off on Aaron Glenn. 4 games in. 4 games into a team that had Aaron Rodgers and only won 5 all of last season. Aaron Glenn is trying to develop into his team. Aaron Glenn is trying to find an identity in the team. Aaron Glenn is trying to find out who's good on this team. He just got the job. And it's his first head coaching job. And you brought up the Detroit. Dan Campbell, who has had one of the best teams in the last 3 years, wouldn't have had this chance if they were listening to you because they started off 0-8, 0-9. Then they righted the ship. They got their guy, and obviously Jared Goff, and they've been able to move forward. So my thing is, I'm not even thinking about Aaron Glenn either way because it's 4 games into his first team with a bad team that I had no expectations of anyway. This is the kid who always brings home D's, and now I'm yelling at him because they got a D-. Like, this is what the Jets do. So I didn't have expectations. This isn't you coming in yelling at John Harbaugh. I can understand that more because there are expectations, Super Bowl aspirations for the Ravens, right? I can understand that. There are a handful of other teams, DeMeco Ryans, you might say, hey, man, this team is supposed to be better than this, talking about the Texans. I can understand that. Nobody had any expectations for Aaron Glenn for the daggone Jets because they weren't good. They haven't been good in I don't know how long. And the crazy part is they actually have been competing. Fox Sports Radio, Odd Couple, Rob G, in for Rob P. I'm Kelvin, Washington on a funky Flashback Friday. Thank you for hanging with us. Appreciate it as always. And for over 40 years, Tire Rack has been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free. Backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com. It is the way tire buying should be. Rob G, You can't just lose. No. You got to make sense of why you lost, right? Especially when it's a little bit controversial, and that's what the Padres are doing a little bit. Actually calling for something that Rob Parker and I had a conversation about a week or so ago.
Yeah, it's a lot of bit controversial because you guys were watching it during the show yesterday, and Monty, you guys had a quick 2-minute conversation about it. In the 9th inning of that Padres game, in a full count, Xander Bogaerts gets a pitch that's low and outside. Not by a lot, but obviously, based on watching it on the screen, that you could tell it was a ball. Home plate umpire calls it a strike. There's the first out of the inning. The pitcher then walks the next 2 guys, gets them on base. Now, ultimately, it's all for naught because they don't score anyways. But if that ball had been called a ball, the Padres theoretically could have had bases loaded, no outs in the game they trailed by 2 runs. So after the game, you had several Padres players on camera basically charging at the home plate umpire as he's going to the clubhouse, had to get held back. And then Bogaerts tells the media after the game that he basically saying it was a bad call and, quote, thank God for ABS next year because this is terrible. I mean, easy question. Has this maybe not for you, but does this change your mind now about the ABS system?
Well, remember,
given that we saw what should have happened last night.
So I was in favor when Rob and I had.
So you're probably the wrong person to ask that question.
Well, no, but I'll tell you, but it cemented something of one of the reasons why I said it.
Okay.
I love the human element in sports, right? Referees, umpires, depending on the sport, whatever it is, chair umps in tennis, it doesn't matter. I love all that stuff. I think tennis does have a great job. You get a challenge, we get to see, hit the line, okay, cool, it's out, whatever, get a couple of game, whatever it is. And yet most of the time it's just an ump or referee calling out. The reason I love the human element is because that's how we all grew up, right? You grew up playing whatever your favorite sport was. There's an honor when you go play pickup basketball, right?
Call your own fouls.
Call your own fouls, or if you guys stepped out, then if not, we'll shoot for it. Like it's just how we all did it. Everything wasn't perfect. It wasn't exact. It was part of the game. You had to suck it up. You had to go play and just move on. So I still want the human element. The reason why I was in favor of this, and again, let's just give it a shot, is because technology has gotten so good that we see it anyway.
Exactly.
Like they've gotten to the incremental, like they zoom in and show you the exact data. And it's like if you keep showing me that was clearly a ball, or that was clearly a strike, or that he wasn't hit, or whatever it is, then to me, you might as well have that. At least have that option for them to challenge a few times a game.
Sure.
Only
Which is
the
what
catcher,
they're bringing.
Yep,
Yes.
only the catcher, the pitcher, and the hitter, I believe it is, that can challenge it. I like giving that a shot. Because, again, you can't show me how egregious it is or how bad an ump is having a night, and I keep seeing it with this amazing 4K technology. Where are you on this?
No, I agree with you. And this is something that Rob and I have argued about off the air, for years now. Because this is not a new development, right? The idea of robot umps and the ABS system has been around forever. And one of the things I've consistently told him is once you allowed instant replay into the sport, which they do, like if a guy's out on first base, they can review that.
We see it every game.
When you see, like yesterday's game, there was a pitch where it hit the ground first and then it hit the batter.
Saw that.
So is that count as a hit batsman? You can review that. So once you allow those kind of reviews, why then can't we review something like this?
Because Rob G, it's going to take forever. They're going to review everything. I mean, that would be the counter if somebody would say it was rule, because we're going to review everything. I just think everything you just said, but adding, dude, I mean, they like zoom in. They have the grid. Like, it's just insane how much we're able to see. And to me, what's the point of showing me all this just to go, boy, you got that wrong.
Yeah, they missed that call.
Man, they missed that. Like, okay,
Bogaerts has every right to be hot about that one.
Right, and nobody's saying every single one can be challenged, but if you give, I like that. And that adds to me, could add a little drama to the game, right? Batter step out, yo, whatever it'll be, of waving a hand or tapping a head, whatever it'll be, add a little drama. So I'm in favor of it, giving it a shot. Because the worst thing that happened, you know what, the NFL does a great job of this. Change it. Oops, our bad. That was whack. NFL is like kickoff returns. They're dangerous. Change it. Wait, no, bring them back. Bring them back. I don't care about safety no more. Run them back and then knock his head off. Who cares?
It's two pros and a cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
You ready?
Yes.
I'm Colin Cowherd. This is The Herd.
You are listening to The Dan Patrick Show.
It's the Odd Couple. You know what time it is.
Let's get it. Fox Sports Radio. Bigger, bolder, and better than anyone in the game. Fox Sports Radio is the #1 sports audio network.
Diverse, fun, entertaining, and driven by the big sports topics of the day.
They had to bolster the offensive line, which they did.
You finally said something right. Congratulations.
That game was incredible. You are wrong.
You could take that trash somewhere else. Wham! We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all so. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
I'm your favorite fan. I
you.
love you. You're very talented. You're the best.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Great show.
Thank you, Jim. You sound like Joe Pesci.
How am I funny to you?
I can't help but notice that the W-2s for the quarterback look a lot higher.
That's because we're worth it.
You gotta be kidding.
He never was an elite quarterback.
This team is unstoppable.
He made the right call.
You know that's right.
LeBron James is a legend.
No, he's not. He complains all the time.
You say Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, but Eli Manning beat him twice. Wrong. Wrong.
For 25 years, Fox Sports Radio has dominated the sports audio landscape with the biggest talent and the best programming available.
We talk sports and we have fun doing it. We talk about life.
Sports radio is where you go after the games are over, and then the discussion begins.
If the Chiefs win,
sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
It is live. It is unscripted. No other medium can touch that.
And that's what makes it special.
Yes.
Who wants some?
bigger, bolder, better. We are Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers have just hired Skip Schumacher as their new manager. Schumacher previously managed the Marlins for 2 seasons and was named National League Manager of the Year in 2023. This evening, prior to Game 1 of the WNBA Finals, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert was asked about Nafisa Collier's allegation that Engelbert told her that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Here was Engelbert's response.
Comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there. And I certainly did not say that.
NFL, the Ravens ruled out Lamar Jackson for Sunday's game against Houston with a hamstring injury. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
I've been covering this league since 1987.
Can this sports writer and this sports fan share a radio show without driving each other crazy? Now, live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, here's Fox Sports Radio's Odd Couple, Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
That's right, hour number 3. Show flying by. Shout out to Rob G and for Rob P on this funky Flashback Friday. Hopefully it's been good to you. Getting ready for the weekend. And if you miss any of today's show, you'll want to catch the podcast. Just search The Odd Couple wherever you get your podcasts. And right after the show, today's podcast will be posted. I don't have a clue who's doing it. You, Brandon, Alex, who's doing it?
Alex is doing it.
Alex, there you go. Shout out to Alex. Getting the pod up for you. And again, it's going to be posted when we're done. Be sure to follow the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and you can even provide us with a review. So search The Odd Couple wherever you get your podcasts, and you'll find today's full show and a best of version posted right after the end of the show. So go check that out. Still a lot coming up in this hour. We got Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM, Director of Trading. We'll do that here in about 30 minutes or so.
Love Lamar Mitchell.
And last call. By the way, did Rob send you his picks at all for
of course not.
NFL picks can pick off?
I'll be picking for him.
Are you really?
He's going to go 5-0.
No,
he'll probably go 1-4.
That's why I said I don't know. I'd rather you. Well, you be wrong a lot.
Yeah. No, I've been really bad this year picking games.
Okay.
I mean, not worse than Rob. Rob was so bad he had to restart the.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that. You know the ice cream brand and Mr. Softy?
Yes.
That's Elijah. Elijah too nice. Elijah too nice. Elijah, I need you to put your foot down with Rob sometimes and be like, no. Okay, no. Elijah, start up. Can you make me a new logo that says 0 and 0? No, you ain't 0 and 0.
Elijah, oh God.
Elijah, oh God, we got to change this.
Elijah, I know you got a little one home.
I know it's 2 a.m. and your wife is looking at like, what's her name?
But they're going to honor me at the South Coast Louisiana Tech Mall, and I'm the 100th shopper. So if you could just make me a graphic
Can
for
you
that.
send this graphic over? I'll send you a picture right
and
now.
And it'll say Rob is right.
Hey, I have to look so hard for it, Rob G. But wait, it's right here.
Rob G, look at your phone. I just found this article about me at 2 a.m.
I don't even know where it came from. I just sent it. Where was it? Oh, I just happened to find this 1994 article I wrote.
God, I love Rob Parker.
I know. You got to love him.
He's one of a kind, man.
He really is. And I blame you, Elijah. Stop being Mr. Softy over there. Elijah, can you say no? No, Rob. All right.
It's not just for the show. It's also for MLB Bro.
MLB Bro. And it makes sense. Come on, right? All right. Again, and as we're joking on it, congrats to Rob. For those who don't know, he's
huge accomplishment.
Yeah, he's getting honored tomorrow at Southern Louisiana Baptist Connecticut University. He's going to be honored. Honored, his alma mater is honoring him and naming a press box after him.
No, that's really cool.
That is really dope.
It's really
so
cool.
Shout out to him and all his family and friends are going to be there for the honor. Thought it was dope. He said all 3 of his godchildren to be there for the first time, having them all together. That's pretty dope as well. And last call coming up. We've been stingy. I just realized that.
Yes.
We ain't talked to nobody.
Yep. And now they're all going to rat us out. Yeah.
You know they get mad and then Rob, it ain't the same when Rob's not there, the phone line. Then Rob's going to come back and tell us we're the most listened to friendly phone call taking his show.
Rob G, now hour 1 on Monday, we're going to do 2 segments of calls now.
All calls.
Because
all
you
calls.
guys didn't take calls on Friday.
Anything on the YouTubians? Anything worthwhile? Check it out.
I mean, there's people taking shots at me because, Alex already uploaded hour 1. Like, whatever, bro.
No, they're saying he gets it done faster?
I guess so. It's not fair. I don't like that. And this is my favorite one. I mean, we're talking about Rob. So the prudent student comments. Rob has money and dresses like he's like a homeless person. Crazy.
Wait, Rob, you Rob or Rob?
Rob Parker. Because I don't got no money.
Wait, where did he see Rob? He just
no, I have no idea. We're not even talking about Rob. We're talking about something else.
He just felt the need to say that?
This is just something I got to get off my chest here.
I mean, Rob, listen, Rob, he has his moments when he gets fly every now and again. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, even when he dresses down, it's all high-end
That's
brands.
true.
So
you
that's
might not know
yeah.
that it's a really nice hoodie, pullover, dress. Yeah, I'll give him that.
He
might have caught the lick for $8.99 at Ross.
He probably did. But for us common folks, if we're wearing sweatpants somewhere, it's like Target or you got some Costco brand or whatever. No, Rob's got the Jordan brand or he got the Gucci sweatpants and But
is there a happy medium?
Exactly.
That's me.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm in a happy medium.
Yeah. At least when it comes to clothes, yeah.
Because I am an ordinary African student. I keep trying to tell you that. You don't want to listen to me. All right, let's get into this. College football. We know it's been some changes, Rob G, over the last few years. NIL, players being able to transfer and all that. And Lane Kiffin, who, by the way, has there been a guy that has failed up more than him? I mean, he fails down then up, and he's just a guy that just keeps getting opportunities and alley-oops. I mean, there's so many other people that I would sit up here with the remainder of this show and name guys that get their big start and where everybody's excited for them, and then maybe it doesn't go well and we never hear from him again. Mm-hmm. Boy, Lane Kiffin can just keep popping up, but so credit to him for.
Well, he's one of those weird guys where he's failed a lot, yes, but he's also a good football coach. So it's kind of like an oxymoron, I guess, where it's like, how do you keep failing up but you're also good at your job? Like I don't know if that makes sense in my mind.
It's because sometimes the opportunity might have been too big for him.
Sure.
Josh McDaniels.
Yes. That is a great example.
Josh McDaniels is your offensive coordinator, got a good quarterback, and you're boom, killing it.
Yep.
Josh McDaniels, lead our franchise and run this organization. Not so good. And so therein lies it, the situation with him. But he had some things to say about dynasties, and he basically was saying Nick Saban and what was happening in Alabama ain't happening no more.
Definitely
a little bit more what he was saying.
According to Lane Kiffin, he's doing some promo, I believe, for some E60 feature they're doing on him, which apparently is going to be really good. I'll have to check it out. But he was talking specifically about the SEC. And what he said was, since they've added Oklahoma and Texas, and since they've decided they're going to be adding that 9th conference game starting next season, we talked about it here on the show, couple that with the NIL rules and the transfer portal, he's saying that dynasties are officially over, specifically in the SEC. That no matter what you think about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what Kirby Smart's currently doing at Georgia, what Nick Saban did before at Alabama, you're not going to see that anymore. That's what Lane Kiffin thinks.
Uh-huh. Well, I was making fun of him a little bit, how he's, kind of failed up. I agree. For the most part, here's why I agree. More than anything, I get his point about the games now, right? Because you used to be able to sneak away, okay, we're only going to play 3 or 4. Now you're playing all these big-time teams in your own conference, and you're playing schools in Oklahoma and Texas that weren't normally there, and maybe you only have to play one of them.
Right. But that's still one more tough team than you would have to play.
One more tough team. But here's why I hear his point, and I understand what he's saying, but I'll say this. Because more than anything to me, Rob G., it's the transfer. Kids nowadays, Alabama was a factory. They had, remember how many running backs they had? It was ridiculous.
All of them.
They had every running back that went into the NFL. Now, whether they ended up being good or great in the NFL was different, but you know how many defensive backs and linebackers they had? You might not even really get to play until your junior year, right? I'll get me as a freshman. I'm playing a little bit sparingly my sophomore year, but. And I think now kids are like, the minute it ain't going that way, I'm out. The minute I don't like that he told me I couldn't play, or he told me he's going to pick up, I'm out. And that's the one issue I've had, and you've heard me say it with the transfer portal. It's not so much the transferring. That doesn't bother me. It's the ideology of, if things ain't going my way, I'm out. If I don't get the reps I want, I'm out. And I don't like that because that's not, to me, necessarily applicable to life. Like, that's not how life always works. Sometimes the best scenario for you was you stayed there, you went through the fire, you pushed through, and now you're starting your senior year, but you know how good you are, how locked in and how ready you are, right? Because you went through it all, and now you start these 13 games, and you end up being a top 25 pick because you were amazing, and you were ready, and you were focused, and you were at the best tutelage and teaching and mentoring. You get what I mean? And you played the best of the best of the best. Now guys are leaving great situations, great schools, great teams, to go to some other middling school because I could be the man there. And then And it's like, okay, you're the man there, but they're not that great. You're not that great, and it looks like you're great because you might be the best, player there, but you're not playing the best competition. And I just feel as though that's leaving. Where guys were comfortable being second string, third string at Miami during the early 2000s. You remember those teams were insane.
Yep.
Their tight ends, you had Jeremy Shockey as a backup, or was he start? But because you had Kellen Winslow
was the backup.
Like you just had, how many backup receivers and backup safeties?
Clinton Portis, William McGahee.
Frank Gore. Dude, what?
Yeah.
And guys waited their turn because they're like, I'm playing the best of the best of the best of the. Look, they used to say that all the time with those teams. You know why Saturdays were easy for us? Look who I practice against.
Yep.
Everybody, Devin Hester. Like, all these guys are in a Jonathan Vilma. Like, it was absurd. My point is you play with real guys. I think kids nowadays are going to sometimes, not all, just take the easy way out. And so, therefore, your roster is not going to be as stacked as it used to be, where I'm just, no, you think that's the best linebacker. Wait till you see this kid that's coming up in a year or two, because that kid's going to be mad. I'm going to go there now.
Everything you said is accurate, and that's precisely why I disagree with you.
Okay.
Because NIL and the transfer portal, even more so than the scheduling with the 9 teams and Texas.
Bro, I got what he was saying.
Right,
but, yeah.
Even more so than that. The portal and the NIL has changed college football in a way that, for me, it's worse because I kind of miss the pageantry of football and you mentioned it, like guys being there, you grow with the program and you saw a guy as a freshman, what became as a senior and the development, that kind of stuff. But now that NIL and the transfer portal is here, you couple that with the expansion of the college football playoff, and I think dynasties are going to be easier to come by now than they were before, specifically because you can lose 3 or 4 games and still get in the playoff. So if you are a team, like we're talking about that Alabama team that was loaded, where you mentioned 2013, look at this. Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, TJ Yeldon, Kenyon Drake, all in the same backfield. Now, some of those guys hadn't played, they had transferred, but they were all on the team at one point.
That's how crazy.
In one running back room. If you lost 2 games in 2013, you were done. You had no chance of winning a championship. And that's what made Nick Saban's run so damn impressive, because if they lose 1 game, like, hey, we got to run the table here.
Yep.
If we run the table and we lose 1 game in the SEC championship game, we may not get in. We got to be honest with that. We got to be cognizant, because there's going to be a Pac-12 team that might run the table in a lesser conference. We might have a Big Ten team who lost early instead of late, and suddenly they're in the championship game. Well, now you can lose 3 or 4 games and still be in the mix. That's number 1. Number 2, even though we kind of agree and it's generally accepted that the big-time programs were still paying guys allegedly under the table, whether it's actual cash or it's, hey, I don't know if you looked into this, but Alabama's entire defensive backfield all got Corvettes. I don't know how that happened, but they must got a great salesman down there that's getting these guys these cars or whatever it is. Before, it was under the table and it was just kind of assumed and, it was happening, but we didn't really know. But now we know that if you are Ohio State, and last year I think they had a $20 million roster, that if they want to invest $20 million annually moving forward, they are going to have one of the best teams in football without even factoring in what the coach looks like, without factoring in your experience level, without factoring any of that stuff in. We're just going to have top to bottom one of the best rosters. Even if the next year one of those guys transfers, we're going to buy another guy to replace him. So that's why I believe when you have so much freedom of movement and you have the expanded playoff, you can run off 3, 4, 5 championships because you can reload in a way that was easier now than ever before. And you can afford to trick games away in September, October that you couldn't do 5, 6 years ago.
Everything you said makes sense, but I'll also add another little caveat where I'll push back. I think, you know what happens when money and too much of it gets involved? The desire to win goes away. It's the reason why people feel there's a conflict between NBA players now and then back in the day. Because for those guys, a lot of it, we're getting paid respect, relative to the average American in 1987, we're making good money. But we're not getting crazy money. It's not a huge farm. Bill Laimbeer said it like this. Bill Laimbeer said, my dad made more money than I made as a professional because dad, had a good business, and he was like, that's how, you've been hard pressed to make more than your dad, your dad to make more than you now, even if you're a middling player in the NBA, because the money is so high.
Sure.
And it changes the game. And there's a little bit of you that's like, winning matters, but money's good.
Mm-hmm.
And now I start giving 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds a bunch of money that they can flaunt now too, be iced out, and we can legally
they can be out and about with it. They don't have to be sneaky anymore.
Man, I hear what you're saying. I could just go buy some player, man, but they offer me more over there. Or I can go over there and stunt and shine. I just think the simply going to Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, yeah, they might throw me a little bit here, but it's more about I want to be there and win.
But those teams are going to be in the mix every year anyway.
What I'm saying is I think it's the pure thing about winning is leaving. And so, therefore, the idea of sticking around and doing this and being – I think it turns more into a me versus the big Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State. And I could be wrong. But once you start putting a lot of money – this again – yes, they were getting handshakes back in the day. That might have had a little something in the envelope.
Yep.
And yes, maybe one or two guys were getting taken care of on a large level.
Sure.
But now you got so many kids, and you know this living out in Southern California. Man, trust me, working from a news organization, these kids
in high school
are pulling up in crazy cars, souped up Hellcats, souped up, as you mentioned, Corvettes.
If you got time, go to a modern day game.
Go
to a Bosco game.
Man, you pull it. And you know
you're going to feel real broke when you pull up to that parking lot.
My kids are right now. And let me go talk to my bosses and get some more money. Because what the heck is going on, this kid? And so my point, I just feel like
Dub's ashamed to drive his old car. He has to drive the new car when he takes the girls to school.
I drop them off at school. I gotta fit in.
We're taking the new car today. Yeah, but it's blocked in. No. I'll move the other way.
Well, then y'all ain't going to school today. No, but I just feel like the money is so crazy now, and I could be wrong, but the idea of just simply winning doesn't necessarily ring off as much as I feel like it used to. And I could be wrong.
No, I understand what you're saying. What I guess my only pushback to that would be is I could absolutely see that line of thinking taking place with all the 5-star guys, the guys who have been, to your point, been getting paid since they were freshmen in high school, right? So their starting negotiation rate as an incoming freshman is like $2 million.
Right.
Like, no, that's what I need. I've already getting $500,000 in Texas as a junior. So no, I can't be taking anything less than $1 million, whatever it is. But what you're seeing a lot of these teams do now, and we saw that again, Ohio State last year, they probably could have got another 5-star freshman to come in and be an impact player for the next 2, 3, 4 years. What they said no is we're going to play for 1 year. Will Howard, he's already established. He's already, had some success. And I'm not saying we're going to get him at a discount, but he's a guy who's also going to value the idea of, hey, I'm playing now at Ohio State.
Yep.
I got a chance to play for a chance. Like Kansas State was cool and we were pretty good and we made some noise, but this is like different. And I think that's where you're going to see it kind of play out.
And we're seeing it in college basketball.
Yes.
Where they're just going to get other guys. Instead of getting this nice, shiny freshman dude.
We're going to get the whole Dayton front line.
We're going to go get this whole 24, 25-year-old grown man that looked like he went to high school with Rob and Kelvin.
That's right.
Let's bring him in. All right. I should open it up for God. People feeling like, I ain't heard from y'all today. If you would like to jump in on this, 877-99 on Fox, jump in on there. Are you seeing this, or is the Dynasties gone in college football? 877-99 on Fox. We'll hear from you next. It is the Odd Couple. Rob G in for Rob P. Kelvin Washington on a Funky Flashback Friday. Stick with us, Fox Sports Radio.
Problem is, when you got a podcast like Travis Kelce, and this is one of the biggest stories of the week, you got no choice but to weigh in on it. And let's just say Travis is not a fan of what A.J. Brown's currently doing. Take a listen.
You're 4-0, boss. Come on, man. It's frustrating for AJ right now, clearly, because he's going to social media to let everybody know how frustrated he is. And where I show my frustration is when we're not rolling as an offense. And I think it's frustration. It's the desire to get it fixed. It's also really hard for me to get mad when we're winning. I think I don't find that energy or that feeling in me if we're winning, if we're having success, if we're putting up points, if we're winning football games.
And I'm going to say this. I 100% agree with Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin, you could be frustrated. You want to produce more. You're a talented receiver. But there's a time and a place. You talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place to have that conversation. Everything doesn't have to go public. No cryptic messages. Go in, have a meeting with Jalen Hurts and the offensive coordinator and Nick Sirianni, right? And just have, what am I not doing? Am I not getting open? Do I need to run crisper routes? What am I not doing? Why don't we have a connection? You know what I mean? Like there's a conversation to be had. But when you do this, especially, and Travis Kelce made the point, when you're winning, if you're losing, Kelvin, right? And the offense is sputtering, yes, we're not winning. But I'm not contributing. I'm a big time player. I want to get involved. We need to get this thing going in the right direction. They're still winning. He comes off as a selfish guy who doesn't care about winning, and I think Travis Kelce, to me, is spot on.
I got a couple things for A.J. Brown. First and foremost, you know what I was thinking about? This isn't just a frustration geared towards Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and the Eagles. You know who this is also geared to, Rob? This is also geared towards Tannehill and the Titans. And I think what we're seeing is an overall frustration from A.J. Brown. I think what he is feeling is, I was supposed to be this top-notch Hall of Fame trajectory receiver, stats galore, awards galore, and I think he's realizing, as of now, he won't individually be that per se. But let me break a couple things down. Number one, what I don't like, Rob, I don't like when people throw the rocks, throw the stones, and hide your hand. Don't think, it wasn't geared towards nobody in particular. I'm not reading a book for the team. I just wanted to get some peace in my life. Like, dude, you keep having antics after antic after antics. You're reading books. You're calling out Jalen Hurts last season. You're talking about him this season. Offense can be more explosive after the game where you had your best game. Then you're putting out cryptic tweaks. And Devontae Smith was another receiver who won a Heisman, by the way, who's probably sitting there like, you don't think I want some more receptions too? You don't think I want more targets too? You know who we don't hear much from? Not saying he hasn't said anything, but we know we don't hear much from Devontae Smith, who has been a heck of a receiver in college, has been obviously a speedster and a really good receiver in the pros, but he knows, hey, we're winning, I'm going out doing my job. This is what I think A.J. Brown needs to realize. I'm going to give you a trajectory who he could be if he owns the position he's in. Michael Irvin. What I mean by that is, Michael Irvin, if you just simply look at his stats, they're good. They're good. But what he meant to that team, the big plays he made when his team was needed, some games they ran the ball more with Emmitt Smith. Some games they looked the other way, and some games it was the defense.
Emmitt Smith was bigger than anybody on that team.
Exactly. But Michael Irvin made big catches, made big plays, and was a part of a 3-time championship team. A.J. Brown, you can be Michael Irvin. I know your stats aren't going to be Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson-like. I'm sure you feel you're that type of talent. You're not that good, but I'm sure you feel that way. And I just believe if he just locks in, stays focused, have communication with Nick Sirianni, an offensive coordinator, privately. Have communication with Jalen Hurts privately. Figure the thing out. Fox Sports Radio. Boy, I tell you. Boy, you get on this other side, you act different.
Talent, man.
Yeah, I know how y'all get. Fox Sports Radio, Odd Couple, Kelvin Washington, Rob G, in for Rob P on this Funky Flashback Friday. We got Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM, in a few minutes here. Talk some lines with him in just a moment. Also, last call coming up in a little bit. And as always, don't forget to check out the brand new YouTube channel. Shout out to people watching, the Odd Mob, all you YouTubians right there. We have our new channel where we are simulcasting the show, youtube.com/@oddcouplefsr, or if you're already within YouTube, just search Odd Couple FSR. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, thumbs up, all that good stuff. We want to hear from you in the Odd Mob as always. So go search Odd Couple FSR and then subscribe for us as well. We'll take a couple calls real quick. Let's see. Well, we're talking about, one of the things we were talking about was Lane Kiffin essentially saying he believes dynasties are going to be dead in college football. I'm leaning more towards him. Rob G disagrees. 877-99 on Fox. Let's take Anthony and Spokane. Anthony, what's up, brother? Yeah, Spokane. That sounded crazy. Spokane. What's up, brother? You're on the Odd Couple. Fox
Anthony,
Sports
maybe
Radio.
it's scary there.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thank you.
Hey, so I agree. Dynasties are done. If you think about it, let's say, example, Texas, who we all know is not going to make the playoffs this year without Arch is playing. But let's say, for example, you make it, you got to win your conference championship, and then not 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 games in a row, where before it was just conference championship.
You could only lose 1 game in the previous form, too. Now you could lose 3 or 4 games and still get in.
Well, you got.
No, he's saying, but you got to be in the playoffs, though. You got to win multiple
yes,
games.
okay.
That's what he's saying.
Gotcha.
I get what you're saying, Anthony. Appreciate the call. Yeah, that's what he's saying. It's more difficult now, right? It's like March Madness. You got to win 4, 5, 6 to get through that thing. Let's go to Dre in Massachusetts. Dre, you're on with the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Dre?
How you doing? Thanks for taking the call. It should be hard to win a natty. So 4 or 5 games, that it should be a perilous journey. I'm of the mind that we're still going to have dynasties in college sports, just because you got to follow the money, right? The blue bloods have always been there. Right now, NIL, it's a different iteration, okay, but there's always been those institutions, those schools that have been willing to spend what it takes, and to go to whatever length it takes to put a competitive team on the field. And I don't think that's going to change in and of itself just because of the new NIL. I do feel we've opened Pandora's box. Right, because I don't know if you need a 16-year-old kid making $500,000 a year, and we already have problems at the pro level in terms of too much of a good thing not being a good thing. So I think that is where we're going to have the dynasties. The sport will go on, okay, but this unfettered professionalism going further and further down in youth sports. We need to look at that, and we need to do a better job. Thanks for taking the call.
No doubt, Dre. Appreciate it as always, man. I just go back. The money is definitely a thing for sure, but also to me, again, I just feel like this transfer thing is going to really play a role in it where you just don't know what you got. It's going to be, or maybe you're right. Maybe it's just hitman for hire and just 1 year. Let's just see what we got.
I would love to be a hitman for hire.
Yeah, you would actually, because I can't believe you asked. You and Alex asked that crazy question once. $4 million, would you? I was like, what is going on in this?
That's a legitimate question. We only ask good questions behind the glass.
That side of the glass is crazy over there. I thought sitting next to Rob was crazy. You guys are crazy. Lamar Mitchell, get ready to come up here, BetMGM, Director of Trading, before Ilo gets you what's set on your what's trending and your updates. Ilo?
Why, thank you very much, guys. We'll start with Major League Baseball. The Texas Rangers a short time ago hiring Skip Schumacher as their new manager. Schumacher previously managed the Marlins for 2 seasons. He was actually named National League Manager of the Year in 2023. In the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens ruled out quarterback Lamar Jackson for Sunday's game against Houston due to a hamstring injury. Cooper Rush will start for 1-3 Baltimore. The Washington Commanders confirmed that quarterback Jaden Daniels will start on Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers after missing 2 games with a sprained knee. Chargers ruled out left tackle Joe Alt and returner Darius Davis. They listed right guard Mekhi Becton as questionable. This evening, prior to Game 1 of the WNBA Finals between the Las Vegas Aces and Phoenix Mercury, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert was asked about Nafisa Collier's allegation that Engelbert told her that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Here was Engelbert's response.
I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there. And I certainly did not say that.
As for the game itself, Phoenix leads Las Vegas 64-57 with 3:36 remaining in the third quarter. Guys, all yours.
All right, Lo, thank you, man. Have a wonderful weekend.
You guys too.
All right, it's the Odd Couple. Rob Parker is out. We got my man Rob G here. Kelvin Washington with you on the Funky Flashback Friday, and we are joined right now by our man, Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM Director of Trading. We do this every week with him. Lamar, what's going on?
What's up, Kelvin and Rob? How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing well, man.
What's up, Lamar?
What's up, Rob?
Yeah, that's right, man. We're doing well, as always. Rob G is in for Rob Parker, so we'll get this thing started here in a minute. Are you we got what we need when I need what I got?
Absolutely. Now, I'm just going to say real quick, I know we got the interview going here.
Yes.
I'm a little bit bummed out that normally, again, pulling the curtain back,
okay,
before these segments usually start, me and Lamar get like 5 minutes of just chit-chat.
You do.
Which is great. Because, we talk about how the family's doing, how work's going. I'm always asking about traffic for some reason. I'm really interested in
because you're an old man. You're the oldest 30-whatever-old you are. I know.
And so today, quickly, before we get to the interview, Lamar, what's the construction like with the F1 and how bad is the traffic on the Strip today?
Rob, it's ugly. It's just nasty. That's all I'm going to say. It's nasty. F1 construction, not a fan. Not a fan.
See, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah, but let me tell you, I take the 696 over to the 5. And now you an old man, Rob G. All right, let's get to it. Big story of the week, Lamar, has been the health of Lamar Jackson. Earlier in the week, the Ravens were 6.5-point home favorites against Houston, and now that he's out, the line has moved all the way to Ravens plus 2.5, so that's a 9-point swing right there. Two-part question for you. Is any other quarterback worth that many points in today's NFL? That's a great question there. And then what kind of action are you seeing on Baltimore in this spot now that they're getting 2.5?
Yeah, there's a couple quarterbacks. You got to look at Josh Allen in Buffalo, and Mahomes are probably worth that swing in the with their teams if they were listed as playing and then out. But really, it's been since he was questionable. It's been all Texans money. I mean, really, all Texans money. It's about 8-1 in favor of the Texans. Ticket count small in the favor of the Ravens, 2-1. But the Sharps were all on the Texans early in the week.
Lamar, the Eagles' passing offense is a work in progress, right? To put it lightly. I mean, you have A.J. Brown.
That was really lightly.
Putting these passive-aggressive.
That's an understatement.
It's just been really awkward, and everybody has some comments. They don't know what's going on, and that's bad news because this week they get the Broncos, and their defense ranks first in QBR, sacks, and they're second in pressures. So it's like the unmovable force or unstoppable force. This is the opposite of that. Whatever, the easily movable, easily stopped force against the.
If you don't stick to sports, stop going science.
This is not a good matchup for them, right? But any event, here's the question: where are the Sharps in this game? Are they expecting the Broncos are going to be able to hand Philly that first loss?
Oh, Rob, you're getting hot because it's all the sharp money is on the Broncos. This really looks like this is Joe's versus pros 100%. Sharp money all on the Broncos, taking those points. They love those juicy points with the Broncos. And even though the Eagles' offense is a working production passing, they still win. But the Sharps are definitely on the Broncos, and the Joes are definitely on the Eagles.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I might have to go Broncos. I feel like at some point your luck runs out a little bit with the Eagles. They've had some close games.
It's like last year's Chiefs.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I would have been getting burned to the tune of 15-2 for them. All right, let's get to this. Well, the Vikings host the Browns this Sunday in London, and you got the debut of Dylan Gabriel for Cleveland, so obviously Brown fans might be excited about that. I'm starting to think that the bettors aren't big believers in the rookie because I see the total has dropped all the way down to 36.5. It's by far the lowest number on the board. What kind of action are you seeing on this game? I mean, that is incredibly low.
Yeah, you're right. That is really, really low on that total. If you look at it, we're looking at it's been pretty split, 50-50 as far as money, but the bettors are betting the total under. The Sharps haven't really done anything with that number yet. And to your point about the Browns being on this team or being in this game. The Sharps are definitely taking the +3 and the +3.5 on this game here. So the Sharps do like Dylan Gabriel in this spot, but they're laying off the total.
Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM Director of Trading here on The Odd Couple. Lamar, the Dolphins will travel to Carolina this Sunday, their first game without Tyreek Hill after that season-ending injury. And that's important because since the Dolphins got him in 2022, 3/4 of Tua's completions and over 80% of his receiver yards have gone to either Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. So it's really a two-man aerial attack there in Miami. I have to assume with Tyreek out that the bettors are all in on Carolina as a 1.5-point home dog, right?
You know what? The Sharps are on Carolina. The Sharps are definitely on Carolina. They took the points early, but the bettors are still laying the Dolphins at about a 2-to-1 clip as far as ticket transaction. But the money's even split down the middle in this game. So we'll see. This is definitely one of those games that we expect more money to come up later, on Sunday morning when the game kicks off about 9:30.
Well, let's just go to this one, Lamar. Lamar Mitchell, our guest, BetMGM, our guest now on the Odd Couple, Rob and Kelvin, on a Funky Flashback Friday. This is the easiest bet in all of sports, okay? In the last 2 years, it has been to bet against Spencer Rattler and the Aints. Not even calling them the Saints right now. The Aints, no matter who they're playing, Rattler is 0-10 outright and 2-8 against the spread as a starter, and yet I'm looking at the board, and I see the line has actually moved from Saints to +1.5 to Saints favored by 2 this Sunday against the Giants. Are the bettors usually buying into New Orleans here? What's going on?
Oh, you know what? This might be Spencer's coming out party because, like you said, the number moved from the other side all the way to Saints -2. The Sharps, they jumped on it immediately when we opened it up. Giants -1.5. They took the 1.5, moved it all the way around. The public knows on the Giants at about 2-to-1 clip, and money is on the Giants at about 2-to-1 clip. But if this sharp money tells me anything, this might be Spencer Rattler's debut win.
Okay.
These guys are crazy. Ain't nobody betting on Spencer Rattler.
I mean, you acting like this ain't the straight hand.
As a guy who went 1-4 against the spread, I think I know what I'm talking about, all right? Lamar, I'm looking at the board right now, and the one game that I just can't figure out at all is the Cowboys and the Jets, all right? Now, if I'm reading this correctly, most of the bets are on the Cowboys -2.5, but most of the handle is on the Jets +2.5. Can you make sense of that for me? And given that we only really care about the pros and not the Joes, just where are the Sharps on this one?
The Sharps are on the Jets plus we opened up 2.5, and the Sharps took that right away. We're down to 1.5, but the Joes, definitely the Joes are definitely on the Cowboys on the money and the tickets. I don't, it's one of those games where the Cowboys looks phenomenal in that game against the Packers, and the Jets didn't look so well. So the Joes are definitely on the Cowboys, but the Sharps are definitely on the Jets.
Yeah, and Dallas is a public team, right? So I'd assume you get that kind of bump there too.
Yeah,
100% public team,
Gotcha.
100%.
Hey, Lamar, last one for me. The Lions are 11-2 against the spread as road favorites since 2023, and this week they're going off as 10.5-point road favorites in Cincinnati, given the Bengals, of course, have scored 13 points combined in their last 2 games. Ooh! I have to imagine that folks are going to be pros, and the Joes are all over Detroit in this spot, right?
Kelvin, you are 100% correct. This is going to be one of our biggest decisions for us because the pros steamed it all the way up to 10.5 from 8.5, and the Joes have been on that at a 13-to-1 ticket count, and money is about 2-to-1 from the Joes. So yeah, it doesn't look pretty for the Bengals. But like we say, this is one of those games where the Bengals showed how poorly they played last week. Got called out, so we'll see what happens because we'll definitely need them on Sunday.
All right, Lamar, last one for me. It was confirmed today that Jaden Daniels will be making his return to the field this Sunday when the Commanders face the Chargers. So obviously that's a big boost for Washington. The only problem is I'm looking at the board, and since that news was confirmed, it looks like the line's still pretty firm, Chargers -3. So what kind of action are you seeing? Have you seen any movement at all since the Jaden Daniels news has been locked in?
Rob G, no movement on that news. It's been the Sharps and the pros, the Sharps and the Joes, on the Chargers consistently in this game. 7-to-1 as far as money, and 5-1 as far as ticket count. So, and the Sharps laid the money, they laid the price 2.5 up to 3. So yeah, it's even though they announced Jaden's coming back, maybe he's not 100%, and the Chargers coming off that sour defeat last week. So everyone is on the Chargers here.
All right, Lamar, man, there you have it. We appreciate you as always, brother.
Thanks, Lamar.
All right, fellas, have a great weekend. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM right there. We appreciate you as always. All right, Rob G, 877-99 on Fox. 877-99 on Fox. We only took a couple, man. Let's open it up a little bit to get some more of these last calls. And if you want to get in on this with the Odd Couple, haven't been able to throughout the day, this is your chance to do so. Again, 877-99 on Fox, Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
It's last call time on the Odd Couple. If you had a take and couldn't get in all show, here's your chance. Your call's important to us. Call us at 877-99 on Fox. Hurry up. Rob and Kelvin got to get out of here.
But yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo missed Bucks Media Day because he had the Rona. He was doing it via Zoom, so why we don't have sound of it. But he was asked by reporters, hey, we heard, it was well reported by several people, including ESPN Shams Charania, that you were considering demanding a trade out of Milwaukee. And Giannis, being the stand-up guy that he is, confirmed it. Here's what he said, quote, "Of course, yes, every summer there's truth to every report. I want to be on a team that gives me a chance to win a championship. It's a disservice to the game to not want to compete at a high level, to want your season to end in April. It's not the first time. I had the same thoughts last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. It's never going to change. I want to be among the best, complete with the best, and win another championship, period."
This is where we start to get into the pantheons of greats, right? This is where we start to have conversations of the pecking order of your top 10, your top 15, your top 20. And for me, I've said this. You and I have talked about it last season, during the NBA postseason, and even just during the season. I expect more out of Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek freak, I want more out of him. He is a phenomenal player. He's an MVP candidate every year. He had an incredible season again last year, putting up MVP-type numbers. He is a 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA. This is another great one. 5-time All-Defensive, 2-time MVP, All-Star MVP, top 75 player all time. And then we go Finals MVP. We can go on and on and on. And this is why my expectations are higher for him. This is why I want him in the Eastern Conference, is what we call it. Why hasn't he been to the finals a couple more times? I'm not saying he has to have 3-4 rings already. He still has another 6-7 years of a really good career. But I'm saying he should be in the finals a couple more times. He should be guys that are competing for finals instead of us coming into the season not even thinking about the Bucks. And there's too many seasons where we don't think about the Bucks for him to be on the team. And what's the point of being just that great where you're an MVP candidate? In the Eastern Conference, where you have a chance. There's no behemoth in the Eastern Conference, right? He's not dealing with the Warriors of the West where I can't get past him. So I think if he was sitting right here in his third chair, he would be like, yo, Dub, I'm with you. I should be in the finals more often. I should have maybe one more ring. And I want him to be competing for that year in, year out. Instead, we come into the year and you're like, they'll maybe be a 3 seed, 4. Like, you don't have a high of enough expectation. And it doesn't make any sense because he didn't come in highly touted. We didn't really know him like that. But now you look at a guy like Jokic, same thing. Jokic, all right, you're an MVP candidate every year. I'm expecting you to be in the finals more because, again, when we typically get that caliber of player in the NBA, it's usually followed with some type of dominance. Right? You get a bunch of MVPs with Tim Duncan. He stays relevantly in the finals, obviously 2 and 5. LeBron stayed in the finals. Steph stayed in the finals. KD, once he got with the word, stayed in the finals. They don't even go back in the day. Isaiah Thomas and the Birds and Magic. So he's too good to, if another 5, 6, 7 years career ends, another MVP or 2, and he walked away with 1 finals appearance or 1 final win, that would be disappointing for the greatness. I mean, his reference page is littered with credentials. Literally, you know how you click on the more? It's just keep falling down with credentials. And I think it's okay and fair to have a higher expectation for the caliber of player that he is, especially in a conference where there's no dominance there. It's not like he's playing 2012 through 18 LeBron.
I could not disagree with you more, and I think I'll just give you a list. Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Allen Iverson, Elgin Baylor, Steve Nash, Chris Paul. What do all those great players have in common? They never won a championship. So Giannis, So Giannis is a made man in the NBA, and he's already won a couple of MVPs. He won a championship in Milwaukee without another top 50 player. And I'm not saying he doesn't want to win, but he did the unthinkable. Everybody was like, you're crazy. Why would you stay in Milwaukee? I heard you'll never win. Go to the Miami Heat. You remember that? Mm-hmm. He could have asked out. Go to Miami. Go play with LeBron. Go do something else. It was all out there. And he said, no, I'm not with all that. I'm not working out with these guys. I'm not doing any of that. I'm my own dog, and he won his own championship. That championship there, to me, means so much more than if you go team up with other people.
Fox Sports Radio, Odd Couple, Kelvin Washington, Rob G, and for Rob P on this Funky Flashback Friday. Shout out to Rob G. Great job as always. Appreciate you. Alex, Elijah, everybody. Ilo, who was getting you updated as well. For over 40 years, Tire Rack has been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free. Backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com is the way tire buying should be. All right, let's get to it now. It's time for NFL Pigskin Pickoff.
You ready to retire? The Odd Couple is going to make you rich.
Gambling, vice, corruption.
It's their Pigskin Pickoff.
That's right, it is the NFL Pigskin.
Now you see you sit next to me when this part happens. You see you being over
Rob and Dub picking NFL games against the spread. Rob's not in, so I'll be picking for him.
Okay.
Well, in order to look forward, we got to look back. Last week, Rob Parker went 2-3.
Okay.
Kelvin Washington goes 3-2.
So I'm up how much? 3?
You are up 3 games on the season-long win total. Rob Parker, as is the case with Shekel City, well below 500, 8-12, losing money every which way possible.
Listen, I'm not going to go too much because for those of you who were here my first year, started off hot, had a bad 3 or 4 weeks where Rob just caught up. I might have been up 10.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just stay. I'm feeling good. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling like I just totally jinxed myself. Okay. But I'm feeling like I got this season under control. Like I got the vibes of the teams. I get it now.
I really don't think you do. But you're 11-9 on the season, which is not bad.
What am I on the season?
11-9.
Dang, that's why Vegas got statue. Yeah, I mean, I know I would have won, but I'm saying I thought I was killing it more than that. Only 11-9.
No, in your mind, you're like, man, I'm really killing the game. You're like,
so that's 20 games. Yeah. I thought, honestly, goodness, I thought I was 13-7.
And then not to get deep in the minutia, but 11-9 is just enough to be profitable.
Yeah.
Because he's 51% is not enough to make money because you're the VIG and all that stuff. Yep. You have to hit 57 for you to be profitable.
Talking about right there.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. This week's games, the NFL games against the spread, week 5. We start off in Jolly London.
Okay.
The Vikings, 3.5-point, technically road favorites against the Cleveland Browns. Dylan Gabriel's first start. Who do you got?
I'm wondering if there's a Jackson Dart vibe to this and that the Browns play well for Dylan Gabriel. But I can't see the Vikings losing another one. Give me the Vikings.
I'm with the Vikings as well for one specific reason. That is that they've been overseas now for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
So their body clock is more adjusted, I think, than Cleveland.
I don't buy any of that. Me and my wife get nailed on about it. I don't buy yada. Whatever time zone I'm in is where I am. Let's go.
Okay.
Buy that time zone, schmime zone.
Sound like a guy who ain't traveled nowhere. All right.
What?
Game number 2.
Smack you with my passport up in this thing.
Broncos in Philly to take on the Eagles. At the time of this, these lines, when we did it this morning, again,
Yes.
they moved. The Eagles were 4-point home favorites against Denver. Who do you like?
Now this one is tough. Give me Denver.
I like Denver too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like them to win the game, but I think they can keep it within a field goal.
Keep it within a field goal. Yeah. I mean, the Eagles, that's what they've been doing. They've some of these games, they're fortunate to have come out with a victory. So watch this be the game. A.J. Brown catches 12 receptions, 180 yards,
that
2
ain't
touchdowns.
never happening. Those days are over.
All right.
That ain't never happening. All right, NFL Big Skin
Who next?
Kickoff. NFL game is against the spread, Week 5 in the NFL. This one's tough. The Houston Texans, now 2.5-point road favorites in Baltimore to take on Cooper Rush, not Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, everybody's hurt. Who do you like here?
I think this is where we differ because I think you're going to pick the Ravens. I'm going Texans because I think they're coming off a win. They're feeling all right, and I think they also realize thank God we get to play the Baltimore defense, which is terrible, and their defense is good. So, I mean, they might be able to force Cooper Rush into a turnover or two. So, give me the Texans.
Now, I'm taking the Ravens plus the 2.5. I don't feel great about it, but if I were to really bet on this game, give me the under all day long.
What do we know what it
Well,
is?
I don't. I'll look it up
whatever
here.
it is.
But whatever it, like, I don't know if you can go low enough for me to be like, I don't know if I'll take that one.
That's a good point because the Texans don't score, and the Ravens look bad whenever they don't have.
And
Lamar.
they can't score. Like it's just one of those situations. So the total in this game, quickly looking it up, it opened at 47. It's now down to 40.5. So other people were like, yeah, bro, this is going to be one of those games where it's 17-14,
I might take that under too.
It's tough.
Who next?
Game number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield and the boys, taking on Sam Darnold, which is Baker 2.0 in Seattle. Seahawks 3.5-point home favorites. Who do you like?
I still don't know how I feel about Seattle right now. Like, I don't know how good they are. Like, are they good or not? This one's torn right now. But I'm going to roll with Seattle. And somehow this NFC West got a couple of teams that are 4-1 after this win by Seattle.
Yep.
Who you got?
I like Seattle too, but I like them because of their defense.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's been fine, but their
Just
defense
as long as he doesn't cost them
has
games,
been lights out.
They're good.
Them and Cleveland, best 2 defense in the league. Last one, Commanders at the Chargers.
You said who? So you said
Seahawks.
Cleveland.
And Cleveland, best 2
because I'm saying the Lions put up a big time piece.
God.
So I couldn't hear
Whatever. All right, quickly. Commanders at the Chargers. Jaden Daniels is back. Chargers 3-point home favorites. So who do you like?
Chargers.
Me
Go
too.
Chargers.
Go Chargers.
All right, so I think we picked one difference. So I'll be up 1 on Rob. Thank you to that. And he'll blame it. His body weigh's going to blame all his losses on you, too, as well. Enjoy the weekend. Have a great time. Bunch of good football and baseball.
The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon is coming up next.
I never miss your radio show. I never hear it, so I never miss it.
Did you hear that?
Oh, God, I'm on a press box.